And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. All right,
Poor
folks.
Timmy.
You know what it's all about. You saw the thumbnail. You know what today's discussion is. We're going to discuss, and more specifically, we're going to ask Alex why he is such a Typhlosion fan and why he's doubling down since the latest news. So, but before we get into, no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, though, in today's news, we're going to be talking about prices on, I guess, everything, man. I mean, Alex and I were literally just looking at it right before this. 151, Lost Origin, Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars, Twilight Masquerade, Obsidian. I mean, I could just keep going on. Everything is going up except for Hidden Fates. And so we're going to, of course, discuss about it all. But before we do so, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. And it really does help the channel if you do so. As far as the wholesale program goes, we're in transferring process. So I just updated the link. You should be able to access and join, but we're hoping to get recurring subscriptions set up here shortly. But if you're interested in being a part of that, you can feel free to message me on Discord. And then I feel like that should be everything before we jump into it. Alex, where do you want to begin? Should we address the elephant in the room with you being a huge Typhlosion fan, or how are we going to go about this?
Well, I'll address the thumbnail for everyone. So I actually snapped that picture. There was a kid at Collecticon, and they were walking around. His parents said, "Sorry, Timmy, everything's just too expensive now. These PokeTubers keep pumping everything." And he started crying. And so I reached around, I snapped a photo, and that's where the thumbnail came from. So
checks out.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me, Alex. I mean, Master Manipulator over here, he does run the entire market with his whopping 12,000 subscribers.
Eli, what about the kids? All right, what about the kids?
I hate kids, bro. Have I ever told you that? Kids.
I just think we should worry more about the kids and their packs, all right, and the cards.
You know what, Alex? I think you're wrong, bro.
What about the game? What about the players? What about the game pieces?
Bro, who cares about the game? It's dead. Go play Yu-Gi-Oh. Go play Yu-Gi-Oh, bro, like a real sweaty nerd. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's I don't know, man. It's ridiculous to consider that people are blowing you up saying that you're the one that's manipulating this market. Like, what? Like, that is actually insane.
Oh, I'm actually like I'm the star of some people's clip videos where I am like a master market manipulator with my subscriber and my little view count. Guys, if people don't realize this is a $1 billion market, like, you can't say in the same sentence Pokemon prints billions of the stuff a year and it's not rare, and then later on say, oh, it's all being bought up and manipulated by a small person on YouTube. Like, it's truly crazy if you really break it down and think about it.
Roach Time says the kids are the most important. They're the ones that will one day buy your sealed product for $2,000 a box.
Oh, another funny part I always like too is like, and this isn't like, bashing anyone who's like into, vintage or mid-era or other stuff, but it's like you always see all the vintage like Instagram channels always post these things whenever something like 151 Charizard makes a jump or Moonbreon makes a jump, and they say things like market manipulation and buyouts and all this stuff, and they post the population reports. But as soon as one of like the older cards goes up in value, it's always like, oh yeah, that's justified. Oh yeah, I can see that price, right? That makes sense. It's like, dude, here, it's either all manipulated or it's not manipulated. Which way do you want to have it? You can't have it both ways. Shout
out to Rob. He's giving you a shout out. Your video has made his revenue go up by 69%, bro. That's some good games right there, baby.
What's up, Rob? Tell you what, man, Rob, you're definitely making a name, dude. You and your wife. Like, there was. From people I've talked to from the New Jersey area, there's a lot of good takes from your shows up there, man. So keep crushing it.
Okay, so I gotta ask you, because you talked about it on your video, but we gotta delve a little bit more into it with Collecticon and just talk about your overall experience.
Here's the thing, man. Like, if it's truly fun for you to vend, great. All right, but there's a few things that are complete bullshit and they need to be talked about. One, you do not need to vend to network. Like, I wanted to make a short video just to make fun of it, like standing behind the booth with my vendor badge on, like talking to everybody. And then I walk to the other side of the booth and take my badge off, and then everyone just like goes silent and won't talk to me. Like, that'd be like the funniest video, because it's like you hear this thing of like, oh, well, you go to network. It's like, guys, You can go and just attend Collecticon and network just as well, if not better. I actually had someone tell me they wanted to come over and talk, but they were too busy. It's just like, wouldn't be too busy if you were just attending and not vending. So you don't need to use it to network or do anything like that. And honestly, depending on what you're selling, the margins aren't much better than eBay. Because here's the truth, right? You're usually not going to get 100%. People are going to talk you down 90, 95%. Sure, you're saving fees and shipping, but it's being eaten up by the hotel cost, the meal cost, travel expense, buying the tables, buying the cases, and everything else that goes along with it. And I did a breakdown of my video showing everything I sold and what I profited. And then if I would have I took all the latest auction sales on eBay for everything I sold and took fees, shipping, everything out of it. And it was a small difference. It was like a couple $100 difference of just throwing it all on eBay or vending, working like 20 hours for a weekend. And so realistically, what would be better is if you just threw everything on eBay at auction, took that money, attended Collecticon, and then just went around and sourced raw singles to grade or tried to make deals with people, you'd probably come out ahead that way. A lot of people like to say it's really valuable to have people walk up to you with their collections. Guys, here's the thing. There's hundreds and hundreds of vendors. Yeah, there's collections being bought and sold, but I didn't have a ton walk up to me. I had maybe like, I don't know, 8, 10 people walk up with stuff. Only a few people actually made deals with because it was only worth it. So everything you hear, look, I would take it with a grain of salt. There are benefits to it, but it's nothing like you need to do to be successful in this hobby.
Did you have any people come up and like talk to you because of your YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, I mean that was cool. I had tons of people come up, want to like me to sign something, want to take pictures, tell me they've been watching the channel. So I loved that. I did love meeting everyone. And so that's the thing. I love Collecticon. I love going. I love talking to people. I just don't think the opportunity cost of standing behind a booth and vending for 20 hours in 2 days is worth it when you could just literally come, attend the event, source, still meet people, still talk to people, have a good time, go to trade night. And then, use that time to do other things and just like literally send all your stuff to a consignment service, selling it yourself on eBay for a fraction of the amount of time for about the same amount of money. I just don't see it. I don't know.
You have it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't do vending. Just consignment with Alex with Nostalgianomics. That's how you'll make all your money.
And that's the other thing, guys. Like, whenever like people give advice, you're always thinking like, what's their motive? Like they have to have an ulterior motive. Like, well, if Alex is talking about a modern product, he must own a lot of it. Guys, I have nothing to gain here. Whether you vend or don't vend, I don't make a dime either way. Like I have no reason to lie to you. I'm just telling you my experience. It didn't financially make sense. And anyone who actually breaks down the numbers for themselves, I think you'll probably feel the same way. The only time it makes sense is if you truly just enjoy sitting back there vending, great, go have a good time. But and then some people say things like, well, there's write-offs. Yeah, but if you're going there for business and you're going to source cards, guess what? You can use all the same write-offs. So it still doesn't make sense. It's like like I said, I don't know. And then people will say that, well, there's risks in online selling, getting scammed, shipping, all that. There's just as many risks in live selling, right? You risk getting damaged in travel. You risk getting stolen from. There's thieves at the conventions. Like the risks weigh each other out. I don't think there's a person out there that could convince me that it's like a necessity to live vend to be successful in this business.
I would actually argue there's probably less risk than selling online on like a platform like eBay, because at least you know the process of like getting your money back. But if someone swipes something when you're not looking and you're like, where's that item? You're just kind of screwed unless you insured it, which most people aren't.
Yeah, and then Nest TCG, like in the comments, like Alex's arguments against vending is even stronger because he has a following. It's like, that's true. I mean, think about it. I had a following. I brought roughly $36,000 in inventory. So a pretty good part of it. Now look, nowhere near the top guys, but I brought enough inventory to what normal like new people would bring. Like anyone in their first year, that's probably around what they would have, 20, 30 grand. So I brought enough inventory. I brought a mix, slabs and singles and sealed and, packs and all kinds of stuff. And, it did well. I sold about 33% of what I brought. But again, after I broke everything down after all the expenses, and I looked at what everything would have sold for on eBay at auction, not even buy it now, just like throwing it at auction, it was like a few $100 difference. And it's just like, so the value of Collecticon is only making an extra few $100 on your item for the 20 or so hours that you have to work to do it.
So the real question, I guess, that we need to have a conversation with Alex is it true? Are you in talks with some of these Saudi oil barons and Silicon Valley tech millionaires? Let's be real here, Alex. You got to talk about it now, man. We know that you've been manipulating the market with these folks.
Yeah, man, they got bomb shelters like all around the world, and that's where they seal or they store all the sealed product. Like, you guys think Rudy's bad? These guys make Rudy look like an ant. And what's funny is they don't even like Pokemon. They just store all the cases to make the market scarce, and that way the prices go up. And that's all they care about, is the prices going up.
Big facts, man. You think I have a big portfolio of LO? These guys, they're sitting on pallets. Just pallets of LO, man. What are we even doing here? But yeah, I mean, we'll probably, I mean, let's focus in on today's topic, right? Obviously, we've discussed your obsession with Typhlosion, and we've discussed you. I'm just gonna keep nailing that. Does no one in the comments know anything about the leaks yesterday? Am I the only one that gets that joke? Anyway, we'll move on.
Dude, throw it out there. I didn't hear about it, so like, educate us.
So there was, if you guys want to go look it up, there were some huge leaks that happened yesterday where it was like a data mining breach or something, and there was a bunch of things that happened. Oh, Alfred has no clue what I'm talking about. So there was a bunch of stuff that happened where data for not only the new but the old Pokemon like lure got leaked before the actual final, like, okay, God, I'm the only one. No one knows this joke. That's crazy. No one knows about what happened. Okay, Jen gets it. Jen gets the joke. Anyway, so there was a bunch of like beta leaks that were being shown of what original backstories were of Pokemon. And one of the original backstories of Typhlosion was that he like lured a girl into like the caverns and then made her have the Typhlosion's babies. And like Typhlosion fans are like in absolute shambles right now on X. And so I was just assuming that people knew about the leaks of the lure before it actually got changed for the final product, but it's crazy.
Wait, to clear things up, they're in shambles on like X the platform, or they're in shambles, so now they're all taking X.
Yeah, right? No, they're in shambles on X, saying that they massacred my Typhlosion. It's like forever changing, like the actual, like.
Could you imagine seeing like the
Typhlosion is like what's trending? It's crazy.
Could you imagine seeing like the Typhlosion 17 from Neo like crash? Like,
I know, right? It just crashes the market because of it.
Oh, that's so funny.
So crazy, bro. But anyway, yeah. And then there's like leaks of like some of the old like sprites for the Pokemon from Gen 1 and on. And you've got some of the leaks that happened for the new games and stuff. And some of the megas got confirmed. So yeah, no, it's going crazy. But yeah, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, just literally look up like Pokemon like data breach leaks that happened recently, or you can go find it anywhere on X. It's been trending all day yesterday. So that's why I keep making the joke. I totally thought people got the reference, but apparently not everyone was following it. But it kept just popping up in my feed of like Typhlosion fans in shambles. I'm like, what happened with Typhlosion? Is there something that I missed here? But yeah, no, it's crazy. But no, but yeah, so let's talk about what's going on in the market. I'll stop trying to troll here. As far as it goes, man, like we kind of said at the beginning of it all, everything for some reason is going up right now. And I know I say for some reason, but let's be real here. Like it's understandable, but I guess at this point, the thing that is confusing me the most is we usually would have seen more reprints occur at this point. We've had a tiny reprint for Paldea Evolved boosters. We've had a tiny reprint for some miscellaneous like Crown Zenith product. We've had a tiny reprint for Twilight Masquerade boosters. We had a decent size reprint for Paldean Fate booster bundles. And then we obviously had ETB reprints as well for SV1, 2, and 3. I don't think 4. So it's like we've had some reprints happen over the past 3 months, but they all have felt super tiny so far. And so I guess my question is, with all of this being said, like, are we anticipating that this is happening because they're prepping their printers for like, the Glory and Team Rocket and the Terrestrial Festival? Or is there another bigger one that's going to come? Or what's going on here? Because ultimately, this is not really, I mean, Paldea boxes have gone up since we had the small reprint or resupply. So I can't even imagine like what this is going to mean for the market if we don't get any more.
Look, not to like, pat ourselves on the back, but do you remember, and anyone else that's been listening to this podcast for a while remembers, we were on here and I literally told you guys, I said, stop waiting. The 151 UPCs at Costco are the biggest screaming play you've ever seen in your life when they were $80 and $90. And everyone was like, I'm waiting. I'm going to wait for a reprint. I'm going to wait. And everyone was like, I'm not going to buy them. And it's just, dude, the same thing's been happening. There hasn't been like traditional reprints, but like the Sea and Sky boxes of Crown Zenith at, Sam's Club, right? You see 151 booster bundles consistently on Walmart and GameStop. I mean, every week. And they're going for like 30, 20s, 30s a bundle. And everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to wait for the real reprint. Like, guys, this is part of the reprint. Like, you got to understand, Pokemon may be switching up how they're doing things, but there has been tens of thousands of these booster bundles of 151 sell throughout like the past month. And everyone's acting like, oh yeah, they just need to make more product. They are still dumping large amounts of, if you look at all the pallets of 151 UPCs that showed up at Costco's all across the country, that is so much product. People are they're downplaying the amount of demand there is in this market. And although Pokemon prints billions of cards, we eat up billions of cards. And that's just what's happening. There's just not enough to go around.
Here's my thing, right? I learned my lesson from evolving, right? And when it came to evolving, there was a small reprint that happened. And after that occurred, right? Because my prediction was, I was like, all right, there's going to be an Evolving Skies reprint. It's going to happen. The small reprint happened. And then I was like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. And then it was a lot smaller than I kind of thought it was going to be. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. This shouldn't be it. Like, there should be another reprint that is going to happen. This shouldn't be the reprint that I was calling for. And so I was very hopeful that we were going to get another one. Never ended up coming. And so for me, it's one of these things where I always want to preface by saying, if you see these opportunities, you take advantage of them, whether in front of you, because it might not seem like a screaming deal buying something at 10% off, 20% off from what the market is. But ultimately, with the way in which the market's currently been reacting to most things, the minute there's any sort of news that this could be it, the FOMO kicks in and then prices just go up. And you're seeing that with Paldea right now, where people are like, oh my gosh, there's more supply in the market, but it doesn't feel like it's enough to, take up the demand. And because of that, the boxes have actually gone up since the announcement, or at worst, like gone slightly sideways. So that should show you the strength of the market relative to where things are with the supply that is, being put onto the market. So take advantage of the opportunities if you can. And hypothetically speaking, if we're, actually going to get a true Paldea Evolve reprint later, and it does, that's fine. Double down. It's going to be a really good long-term product. I don't think you're, looking back on evolving and saying, oh man, I bought some at 120 or 130 and I really was hoping it was going to go to 100, but it didn't. I missed that extra $30 I could have made. Like, no, dude, like you could have doubled down and dollar cost averaged if it did happen. And if not, you would have made so much in the long term. Like, that's kind of what I'm personally now looking back on and saying, all right, I can always DCA into a position if it really does go lower again, because I believe in the product long term.
I think it goes back to like human nature, like a loss is a much stronger feeling than a gain. And so it's kind of like if you go to the casino, right, and you win $500, you're extremely happy. But if you lose 500, it like hurts you way deeper than than the money you won. And I think that's what happens is people, they have this strong feeling of that Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, Battle Styles reprint. Or if you've been around a long time, you remember like Roaring Skies and Primal Clash. Like you remember like the worst reprints of all time and like the worst price crashes. But in reality, normal reprints are not that bad. Do you forget about Lost Origin? It dropped, 110, 120, and now it's back up to 230. Like, do we forget about Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars reprints? Do we just forget about every other reprint that's ever happened and we immediately just look at, oh, well, Chilling Reign did? It's just like, what does that mean? And it's like, there's things to wait on, there's things not to wait on. If people are asking about Twilight Masquerade at 150 a box, you know, 1,000 a case or whatever it's at, 970 a case, yeah, maybe you can wait on that if you missed out, right? When Japanese 151 was $180, $200 a box, yeah, those are things you wait on. When 151 UPCs are $80 and $90, guys, that's barely over distribution costs. That's stuff you don't really need to wait on, right? When you can buy boxes at $90, $95 out of the gate, when like every set is starting to rise in the 110, 120s, that's not things you need to wait on. What are you waiting for? Hopefully you can buy it for that price or around that price in 6 months or a year. It's just like, you know, when you're investing, you're worrying, you need to weigh the risk versus the reward. And at those levels, there's very little risk. Now I get it. Things like Paldea, it sucks that it didn't drop more for people. Twilight's extremely high. 151's extremely high now. You know, obviously Evolving Skies going from 700 to 850 in a matter of a week. Like all those things, it's rough and you could come up with the reasons on why to wait. But guys, don't get in this mindset of I'm going to wait on everything because you're just going to miss everything. You're going to miss out on every single thing. You're going to watch it go and you're going to turn into one of those angry people on Twitter and Instagram and Discord complaining that everyone's manipulating the market.
Oh, well, it's one of those things too where I feel like what makes it the most difficult is although there's a lot of predictability within this market, there's still a lot of things we cannot predict. And I think the most important of that is supply runs, right? Because we can sit here and try and speculate based off of, okay, well, my distributors told me that there was going to be less of this set printed. And, you know, therefore, do we think that the price is going to go up? And, or, oh, this set, it was printed more than the previous, you know what I mean? Like there's these certain things that we still can't account for, which makes it tough. But at the end of the day, if you're playing this the same way, it shouldn't really change your overall strategy. And you're going to hit more times than not playing that same strategy, because if there is a set, right, that you're like, all right, I'm going to go in on this set with the anticipation that I'm going to be able to get what I want. And if that set ends up being less than there is, well, okay, fantastic. Sure, you went in with the anticipation you were going to get what you were hoping for, but now all of a sudden it's more scarce than you realized, but now your bags are going to be more valuable because of that. So it's like kind of a win-win situation if you're looking at it in that regard. So that's why at this point you kind of have to look at it and say to yourself, man, things are, I mean, we've already assumed things were going to go up in the long term sealed product wise, but it just feels even more aggressive at this point.
Yeah, and you know, everyone's talking about the Charizard, you know, 151 PSA 10 going from 350 to 700 at auction. I think it's in the 6 and 700s depending on which auctions or which buy it nows you see. And you know, same thing that we talked about when we first started. Like there's people now on like Instagram talking about market manipulation and buyouts, and sure, there's some of that going on always in the market. But to think like cards, you know, it's like thinking nothing can ever move. It's like when a real estate market moves. It's just like, well, why did it move? It's like, well, it must be market manipulation. It must be all, you know, Wall Street companies coming in and buying everyone out. It's like, yeah, there's part of it that's happening, but people still need a place to live. There's actual people still out there buying homes. There's actual people out here still buying these cards. Like if you tracked it, every purchase on eBay, you think every one of these PSA 10s is all going to the same person? They're hoarding them all and manipulating the market? No, it's just, it may start with those kinds of things, but the market, it's always going to move up and down, and every move cannot be explained with market manipulations and buyouts. Because if it was, that means everything would crash thereafter. And we haven't seen the alt arts crash. They came down. Not many of any of them hit their old lows, though. They set in higher lows, which the Charizard will probably be the same. Who knows how high it'll get? Maybe it gets to 750, 800, 900. Who knows how high it gets? And then it'll probably have a retracement. Maybe it retraces back to, 555, 450, something like that, finds a new low, stagnates there. But, people thinking that everything's just like linear, like go straight up and then go straight down. That's just not how things work.
Yeah, it's it's something right now where you look at what's happening and it makes sense. Like it's just basic supply and demand economics. I don't know why people are tending to overthink things when it comes to Alex is manipulating the prices, or it's these buyouts that are happening. No, it's just supply and demand economics. If you notice that there's more sales and less supply, then the product value will run up, and that is ultimately what is happening right now. And
what you have to ask yourself, dude, it's so simple. It's how many are out there? Like 8,000 something Charizard PSA 10s? I don't know. Like 10,000, 11,000 Moonbreons? Here's what you have to ask yourself is, what do you think it's going to get to? Throw a number. If you think it's going to get 15,000, 20,000 population report in PSA 10s. So then you have to ask yourself, across the entire globe, the entire world of Pokemon collectors that collect English cards, do you not think there are 10, 20,000 people out there that are willing to pay X amount for that card in their collection? 151, the most iconic set of Scarlet and Violet. Do you not think there are enough people worldwide to pay $500, $600 to have that card in their collection?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, I think a clear-cut example of this, and, you know, I've kind of talked about it before with specifically commander decks, right? Like, I talked to you about it before the stream with my Mind Flare commander deck. Like, when the commander deck price was reprinted, it dropped the commander from 140 down to 70. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to be picking up some of this deck because I feel like it's going to go back up in price because this is a very scarce product. And what then has happened since the reprint is the prices have gone up and most of the sales have then been removed from the market because there's just not a ton left. And now I've relisted my commander decks for significantly above what the previous high was before the reprint. And I've already generated, you know, 3+ sales in the past 2 days because at the end of the day, I am one of 2 sellers right now because I'm just waiting until the supply goes away. And that is not something that I'm doing just straight up because, oh, I want the price to be XYZ. It's like, no, I'm doing it because right now there is 0 supply and people are willing to buy at this price. If they weren't, then I'd adjust the price. But as long as the supply is going to meet the demand and people really want that product that bad, that's just kind of what's happening right now. So
hey, yeah, I have a question. I know we don't like to reply to like chat messages early, but
oh boy,
we have to like call this stuff out because misinformation can spread really quick. Has Pokemon ever reprinted after 4 years? Ever?
I as far as I know, and this is
for modern in the last 10 years.
In the last 10 years, as far as I know, and this is only what I was told from oh my god, how am I blanking right now? A Cardinal, sorry. Mason was the one that told me. He says that there was a reprint that happened past the 4-year with XY evolutions. Now, I wasn't there. I came in during the back half of when the reprints were occurring for Sun and Moon era product. And I also was around in the competitive scene for when they did the Primal and the Roaring Skies, but I wasn't really around for the evolutions.
So Evolutions was released November 2nd, 2016. Dude, there wasn't a reprint after November 2nd, 2020. I don't think that's right.
I can tell you, I got access to distro in 2019. And so that didn't...
But being distro, having it in stock is different from them getting new supply from Pokemon as a reprint.
Yeah, I mean...
Here's the only reason I want to say that. There was a comment in chat that I got to call him out. Sorry, dude. I'm not trying to be that with it. But Noel said, very plausible they'll print 151 for another 3 years. That's ridiculous because 151 was released September 2023. It's already a year old. They're not going to reprint that for 3 years. So guys, don't fall into these like traps that people throw out there. No, nothing is getting reprinted 4 years later. It doesn't happen.
I mean, right now, at least what people are saying, it was shortly after the 2-year stint. So hypothetically speaking, if we're talking 2.5 years, it's entirely possible that it broke that because 1, it was a specialty set that didn't have any collectible or didn't have any playability to it. And then 2, the demand was so high that they didn't have enough time to address the actual supply until shortly after it went out of rotation. I mean, let's just say
we're talking possibly one time in the last 10 years, possibly.
That
it's
is
just
true.
it's put it this way.
It's unlikely.
If you're gonna bet on it, if you're gonna bet on something, you are gonna bet on the 0.1% of time that something happens that you're gonna wait and hopefully pick stuff up. And then if it does get reprinted, likely it's not gonna get reprinted enough to affect anything. Guys, this whole Timmy mindset of I'm going to wait, it's not working anymore. It doesn't work. And it's just like, well, Alex, it could work. Hey, you can sell your Twilight Masquerade cases right now. If you bought Twilight Masquerade, guess what? Go sell your stuff right now. You'll lock in 50+%, 60+% gains. You can keep whatever else you keep 100% free. It's like literally zero cost basis, and you've already won. And now anyone that said anything, they've already lost. 151, go sell half your stuff right now. You've already doubled up. Everything you kept is now 0% cost basis. You can't lose. This is, guys, Surging Spark is going to be the same way. And this is what people don't talk about. Like when a reprint comes, they have this big gotcha moment. It's like, yo, I've already like realized gains and all that stuff way back when. Now I'm going to pick more up and realize more gains. And so this whole like, I'm going to wait mindset, it's getting people crushed right now, to be honest.
Yeah. I think I think going back to it with evolutions, it's something that, you know, based on from what I've heard and what other people have reported, this is something that occurred, like you said, once in the past 10 years. And it wasn't like 4 years after. It was like shortly after it was supposed to go out of the rotational cycle. So that is something that happened 8 years ago, which is a very, very long time ago. And then on top of that, you also have to say to yourself, how does this generally like affect things now with under this presumption, knowing that this has never happened before? And it's like hard to say because Pokemon has outliers, right? And this is something that we're learning over time, especially from having distro access now. Whereas last year, it was the first time in my 4 years of having access to distribution where we didn't have major reprints during the holiday season. And my belief for this was because of the fact that we had the switching over from the yellow to silver borders, right? So there are these events that occur that could change the landscape, but ultimately there's things at play that we necessarily don't know that cause these things to occur. And so we have to know what's in front of us and take it with a grain of salt and understand that, hey, yes, this is likely, but history tells us that it's only happened once. So the odds of it occurring again, you know, it's technically possible, but it's very, very unlikely. And so that's how I am, you know, looking at Evolving Skies or other set reprints. Because if that were to happen, I mean, that'd be insane. I mean, that would be crazy. But you know, I'm under the presumption it won't.
Under that, what won't?
Evolving Skies reprints are not going to happen.
Dude, I can't. No, I'm not even talking. This is stupid.
Yeah, people are talking about that.
Ugh.
But and here's the thing: who cares? Like, I think everyone is so fixated at this point on the evolving reprints because it would be such a layup to go buy it at whatever price it is because we know the history. But there's so many opportunities that you can pick up right now, or you could have picked up in the past year that you've hit on. And for me, I don't need evolving. I know it's a free layup for people, but you know, you've got Twilight, you've got Stellar, you've got, you know, Obsidian, you've got Paldea, like all these. I mean, Paldea, how long was Paldea in the low 80s for? I mean, you could pick up Paldea for $80, $82 forever, like ridiculously cheap. And now it's going for 140. Like, what is that? Like a $60 return? That's an insane return. That's like a 70% return in less than a year. Like that's insane. Lost Origin, another one. I mean, you know,
well, it's like when you look back to, when you look back at like, you know, Sword and Shield, and everyone's like worried about like, you know, being in a bad set or losing money. It's just like, what are you afraid of? Another battle style scenario? Like, hey, battle styles, I'm looking right now, it released March 19th of 2021. So, and back then you could have got boxes under $100 because I'm not even saying you caught them on the reprint or whatever, but like back then it was lower MSRP. So let's say you got those at $90, $95. I mean, what is that? 3.5 years? You're upset about being, you know, 30-something% up in 3.5 years. If only the worst stock in your entire mutual fund or the worst stock in your whole portfolio performed that good, right? Or Vivid Voltage, Darkness Blaze, I'm only 40-50% up in the last 3 years, right? Like Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars, I'm only, you know, 60-80% up in the last 2 years. Like these are the low performers, guys. If only every stock in your entire mutual fund and index performed so poorly.
I know, right? Also, I slightly hear myself in an echo, by the way, on your side of things.
All right, I'll turn it down.
But yeah, no, it's funny because so I have a lot of friends or like mentors in my life who are older than me, whether they're in their 40s or 50s, And a lot of them are used to traditional forms of investment, whether it be real estate, stock market, indexes, etc. And it's so funny having conversations with them. And I'm like, yeah, like my Pokemon investments has been doing really good. Yeah, so I was buying booster boxes in like the 90s, and now it's going for 235. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, so pretty good return for Pokemon in about a year, year and a half, just over 120% return, just nothing crazy. And they're like, bro, I'm happy if I get like a 10% return in a year. That's insane. But it's just
no, but
it's
you got to preface it. But they can just click a button and sell, Eli. They don't have to ship it to somebody. All that extra work is obviously not worth the extra 90%. Obviously, it's too much work.
Early.
It's too much work.
Yeah, I hate retiring early, dude. What the heck, man? It's too much work these days. It's the worst. I mean, I look at it from the perspective of, okay, it's at 235 right now, and it was at 200 like a month or 2 months ago. If I sell it now, even after shipping and fees, I would have on TCG Player, it's gonna sell for what it was 2 months ago. So it's like, I'm like, fantastic. I'd walk away still making $200, which is awesome. Like, that is great. That is still over a 100% return, and I'm selling it on a primary market where I can get a high amount of demand. If I want to go spend more time and effort, sure, I can go sell it, individually on like a Facebook marketplace group for slightly less than market and not pay the fees. But it's like, I'm just going to go try and sell it by the case on eBay or other platforms as much as I can at that point. But for me, that's what I will do when I decide to sell. But I am not doing that currently because everything doesn't, I mean, Lost Origin specifically, just because I obviously follow that one, but most of these boxes, but Lost Origin, it looks like it wants to run. Like, if you look at the lowest listings, there's 2 or 3 listings right now that are at 235. And when those listings get bought up, it goes to 250. And then when those listings get bought up, there's like 4 or 5, it goes to 270. So, obviously if more listings get added on, then it'll slow that pace down. But right now it's moving in the same way that Evolving is now at 850, 860 lowest listed. And we realistically, because we were talking about this, Alex, $300 by, I think, March is what we said was our prediction for Lost Origin, and we were being conservative on that one, thinking it was possible it could hit end of year. But as with most of these predictions, we always tend to undershoot it. So
I thought the reprint was going to crush our predictions, but not at all. Like, when Evolving Skies kind of stagnated at 700, I thought I was out of luck with my $1,000 end of the year prediction. That's looking like it's possible now. Everything is kind of coming to light now, where it's just like, maybe we're going to be spot on with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, skies to 1K and LO to 300 seems very plausible, either by end of year to March. Like, before, we thought it was speculative. Now it feels right on the money at this point, and maybe undershooting it. It seems crazy to say, but $150 jump in the span of a couple, like, that's crazy to witness. So, I mean, the real thing we have to ask ourselves at this point is, what's going to happen with Scarlet and Violet era product? I know that Sword and Shield era product, it just feels easy at this point to say it's just going to keep going up, right? Most of it has already gone through the process of being printed pretty heavily. Your anticipation is that all these boxes are just going to kind of go up, right? Obviously, I talk more about Evolving because Evolving's, one of the most popular ones, and same with Lost Origin. It's the second best performing of the 2 boxes. So it's like, those are the 2 we like to look at. It's like the gold to the silver of, when it comes to, what is it? What were they called? How am I forgetting what they're called when you're investing in commodities? Sorry, but it's like, it's something where you can't really go wrong at this point with any of these Sword and Shield boxes and how they've been performing. But Scarlet Violet here, I mean, all of them are still in rotation, right? None of them are out of rotation. I mean, Paldea came out. How old is Paldea at this point? Is it a year old? A year
More
and a
than
half
that.
old?
Paldea is...
It came out in like...
June 9th, 2023. So about year and 3-4 months?
A year and 3-4 months. I mean, we're coming up on a timeline where it's now or never for the supply of this product, right? And then when that does happen, I mean, Bro, you know what's
I mean,
a part
here's
of
dude.
what's a part of that cycle? You know what's a part of that cycle? If I'm correct, isn't it Paradox? Isn't Paradox a part of that?
I mean, dude, there's what we always talk about. There's so many people on the sidelines to where if that did happen, they're willing to put so much capital to work, and it's eaten up so quick. Because like, here's the problem with late reprints, it freaks everybody out. But it's actually the best time for reprints to come because everyone's gonna snatch that reprint up so freaking quick because they know that's the last reprint. They know it. Whereas like early reprints, it's like, well, it's only 8 months old. It could have another one. Where it's like if a reprint comes like over 2 years, it gets eaten up so quick. We just saw what happened with Lost Origin. I mean, it's just like everyone kind of has that safety, feeling where it's like, oh, I can buy as much as I want now. I'm not going to lose.
Yeah, seriously. So it looks like F is part of the next rotation, which obviously that's going to include all of the Sword and Shield era. The rest of it is gone. So Paradox is not a part of that. We know that for certain. What about Obsidian? Is Obsidian a part of F? It's a part of G as well. Is there any is Scarlet Violet base a part of the F, or is it all just the rest of the Sword and Shield at this point?
Scarlet Violet base is March 31st, 2023.
It's G. Okay, so right now, going into 2025, having F be rotated out, that means that we'll have one more year after, and then everything's gone, which kind of feels prolonged. But I guess since there was delays, it does, I guess, make sense. Unless I'm tripping, and maybe there's more to it that I don't know about. But I mean, we know for a fact at least F is getting rotated out.
Yeah, and one thing I want to, everyone's always in the chat. They're in my chats too, and my Discord always talking about this. Guys, I can't stress this enough, okay? You are in the top 1% of this hobby. Whether you think it or not, you are, okay? Anytime you're talking about any other site other than eBay, TCG Player, Amazon, stuff like that, you're in the top 1% of this hobby. Most people do not know or shop on Pokemon Center. Most people are not out there searching around to all these independent LGS websites. A lot of people are not buying on TikTok. They're not in Facebook or Discord or Instagram groups or buying on those platforms. And so if you go out there into the world and you find a deal, that is not the market price. That means you got a deal. And so just because, say, you can buy something for $150, it doesn't mean it's a $150 item. Whatever it's selling for on eBay or TCG Player, that's the market price. And I can't stress that enough because I think too many people, when they hear us say things like, Evolving Skies is $850 a box. When I say that, Evolving Skies is selling today on TCG Player for $850. It doesn't matter if you can go to X, Y, or Z back alley behind the old broken down Blockbuster website and find it. It doesn't matter, because that has no bearing on the market price of that item. And so it's great for you to find deals, but don't get caught up into thinking that, oh, well, if I found it for this price here, that must mean, the market's going to come down or there's more product coming to market. There's a reprint, restock. No, it's all irrelevant, right? The market price is the market price.
So obviously nothing's been definitive yet, but based off of 2024, it was just the E rotation that went out. So we're under the assumption that F is going to be next, which if that's true, and we'll say just for the sake of the argument, April 2025, then everything Sword and Shield is gone and you got one more year. So, it's plausible. It's plausible that we could definitely see some more supply come onto the market for some of these first half waves, Scarlet Violet era boxes. I mean, like I said,
well,
before,
hold on. Let's stop there. Let's stop there.
Season or next year, maybe.
But let's stop there. Guys, just because a reprint comes, that in no way, shape, or form means a booster box reprint is coming.
It's true.
That could be ETBs. That could be bundles, packs and collection boxes, tins. Like, they don't have to reprint boxes. In fact, they haven't reprinted boxes many times in the past. We could list tons of sets all throughout the past few eras where they did reprints that did not include booster boxes. So don't think that since a reprint might come, it's going to be booster box reprint. They could just dump a ton of ETBs on us like they did with Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage.
Well, the wholesale program is a perfect example of that, because the amount of, so we had a pretty large size ETB reprint for SV1, 2, 3, and SV3 just went out of stock in all of our distros, because if you guys didn't know, there's a huge grading play right now with the promo for the ETBs, where if you get like a 10 in like 2 of the ETBs, it pays for the case itself for the promos. So we had an insane amount of people purchase it, and it's already sold out within the span of when that reprint happened. So
I know you canceled all my orders.
yeah, my bad, bro. So I mean, hey, it was available for the past 2 to 3 months, so it was sticking around for a while. But yeah, but as far as Obsidian booster box reprints go, nothing so far has been confirmed. So we just don't know. We just don't know what is going to happen during this holiday season. I mean, guys, we're in October, so we've like we talked about earlier in the stream, we've already had some of our reprints that were very tiny happen, and they were booster bundles, right? 151 booster bundles, small supply. Paldean Fate, small supply, or bigger supply. Crown Zenith, small supply. So it's like they're not even booster box products or ETB products for these specialty sets. So we still don't know what's going to happen. Holiday season is just beginning. We still got all of November, all of December, and then it rounds out the year in January. So I think patience is definitely going to be a key factor, because things are just revving up. And then from there, we kind of go and see after what happens and then use that information going forward. But in the meantime, you know, we're watching everything go up.
The Crown Zenith thing's a really good point. So, you know, if anyone wants to, like, if you log on TCG Player and look at Crown Zenith PC ETBs, right? So they didn't get a reprint, obviously. We got ETB reprints. We got bundle reprints. We got tons of Sea and Sky boxes, meaning the packs became plentiful everywhere. The PC ETBs, they barely had any price movement. They've been trading for the past 6 months. They've been trading in a 118 to like 112 range. And they're at like the lower end of that range right now, but we're talking about a product that's a $120 product trading within a $10 range. Those are normal trading ranges, meaning you can have packs be flushed onto the market and it won't affect the price of the actual item. We saw this with the Arceus boxes with the Cosmic Eclipse packs, right? Cosmic Eclipse packs dipped way down. Guess what? The booster boxes didn't see dips like that. And you see this all the time. More packs hitting the market in forms of ancillary products does not have as much effect on the booster boxes or like the main products, like a PC ETB or something like that, because the value, again, is in the sealed box, the scarcity of that box itself. It's not the cost per pack or the singles value that's inside.
Yeah. I mean, I know it'll probably change after pre-ordering, but like you've got the Pokemon Center Scarlet and Violet, you know, Surging Spark ETB pre-selling, and unless I'm doing something wrong. Nope, I can pre-order, add it to my cart right now.
What's that?
It's going for $60. The Surging Spark Elite Trainer box.
Oh, it's still on Pokemon Center?
Yep, the Pokemon Center one. And like I said before, I know it's different because you can only pre-sell it if you're able to get access to it. But right now, it's pre-selling for $170 on TCG Player. That doesn't make any sense to me. That just doesn't make any sense. But but like people do this. People do this if you have access to pre-sale. Like, it's crazy to think about, and prices will correct. But even then, like, if we're thinking Surging is going to be as hyped up of a set, and I mean, we'll talk about all things Surging more next week as we get the final numbers for allocations, and then we'll get everything going for the rest of the leaks. But it's like there's so much hype centered around this set. I mean, I feel like you probably haven't, but have you seen the cards revealed so far?
Just what's been shared, like around Discord that I come across. I try my best not to look at leaks. I just don't care. But yeah, I've seen some of them. Did Eli freeze? Guys, we lost Eli. His camera is frozen unless I froze out. Let me know in the chat. Did I freeze or did Eli freeze? He's concentrating. Eli's frozen. No. Oh, no. Now I got to carry the stream myself. Okay, guys. Pokemart USA's distribution program. Eli needs our help. Obviously, his camera's freezing out.
Dude, did I DC and you didn't?
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. That's so weird. I literally just saw you freeze and I was like, uh-oh, guys, we lost Alex. And then I just disappeared.
That's why I was asking the chat. I'm like, who froze? Is it me or him?
Of course it's me, bro. What are you talking about? Who else would it be?
Oh, that's so funny, man.
Yeah, right, dude. Sorry, but what were you saying? I don't know.
Nothing. I don't know, dude. It's just one thing I love about this market is it's everyone like, everyone's kind of like against investing, right? And then when things go up, they come up with reasons on why it went up and why it's like not going to last or why it's, something wrong with it. And then they also say things like, well, yeah, I mean, it was easy to see this was going to happen. It's just like, if something was truly easy to see and anyone could do it, why didn't you do it? Like, why didn't you do it? It's like, if you knew a stock was going to rise like 100%, if you had like, some kind of Nancy Pelosi looking to the future mindset and you knew something was going to happen, why would you not buy it? And why would you sit there and be like, well, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Did you though? Did you?
The Nancy Pelosi mindset. That's funny. Dude, have you seen the Milotic artwork or the Milotic?
Possibly.
Oh, dude, it's my favorite card of the set so far. It's so sick. That card's gonna be so much money. You know how I had my prediction with the Groudon and Paradox? That the Milotic is my Groudon for this.
Whoa, you're going that far with it?
Yeah, I'm going that far with it. That card's crazy cool.
Well, I learned what happened when I didn't listen to you the first time. Dude, I'm not kidding. After that stream, I think it was like 20 of them in my cart on TCG Player, and I didn't click it. I was gonna pre-order 20 of them, and I didn't do it, and it doubled.
Dude, you want to talk about a play? If that card comes out, I mean, who knows if it'll come out cheap, but if it comes out like $20, bro, or like $30, you better be buying the crap out of that card.
Dang, look, you got multiple people in the chat. Flower City, Jimbo, everyone's talking about it. Okay.
It's the Groudon for me in this set. It's so clean. It is such a clean looking card. I think the reason why I like it so much is it has a very classic design to it when it comes to like traditional art styles. It's very reminiscent of like the stamp boxes. Like, you remember how they had the stamp collection boxes? I think it was called the Precious Collection. I can't remember the name of it. I don't think so. But and it had the two you could get. It was the Pikachu on the shoulder of one of the girls, and then it was another one with a Cramorant flying in, and it has a very similar art style feel to it.
Dude, you gotta stop manipulating the Milotic market.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
You know what's crazy? Like some days, some night or weeks, we'd have like very little to talk about when you make a stream out of it. And like this week, there's too much. Like, we didn't even talk about the whole Japanese cards coming to TCG Player.
I know. There's so much to discuss.
Like, that's gonna be huge.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
People have been asking for that for a long time now.
Yeah. I mean,
I do want to, I get asked this a lot. Now, I know a lot of people in here, you guys are veterans, but I know some of you guys are new. And there's a lot of people that always see Japanese cards compared to English. And they say, why is English so much more expensive? It's the same art. It's just different writing. Like, this English must be just overinflated. It's manipulated, all this stuff. And here's the thing, guys. Because Japanese print quality is so good, there's zero chase to get them graded. That's why PSA 10s can be like a fraction of what the English PSA 10s are. It's because the English cards are not printed, their print quality is not as good. Therefore, there's a much harder chase to get them graded. Because there's that harder chase, the 10 is actually a lot more valuable. Because the 10 is valuable, the near mint copies are very valuable because people are buying them in hopes to get one that they can grade a 10 and make a margin. So that's why the whole English card market usually stays a lot higher than the Japanese singles. It has nothing to do with like, people are just like obsessed with the English writing over the Japanese writing. It's the same artwork. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the chase of the grading, which keeps the prices higher. And then sometimes, the hit rates are harder in English on certain cards than Japanese. The packs are seated differently. But that's one of the big reasons is the grading.
I mean, it just goes back to the same old story. It's just supply and demand economics, right? If you see a card that is hard to pull, then it's going to be valuable. I mean, EV Heroes is a perfect example of that, where if you look at the SIRs, most of them, surprisingly enough, are more expensive than our Evolving Skies, or at least they were last time I checked, because it was so ridiculously hard to be able to get them great. I mean, what was the Moonbryon? It wasn't like $2,000 or $3,000 for EV Heroes.
The Moonbryon recently just dipped below the English Moonbryon finally, man. Yeah. So crazy. If you guys don't know, like, here, this is the other thing. It's like, and I always get so much crap when I say this, and like, guys, I'm not talking down Japanese cards or the Japanese market, but to say the Japanese market was in a bit of a bubble, it's just common sense, right? It got ran up extremely high because when English went through the pandemic, it got really expensive and extremely hard to find. And so a lot of people flocked to Japanese because it was cheaper, which then people eventually flocked to Korean, Chinese. Everyone was going where they could get the cheapest packs open. And after everything kind of calmed down and English became cheaper again, and people started to come back to English, the bubble kind of popped with the Japanese cards. And that's why you saw everything, all the waifus, all these things that went to the moon, all start to have those massive crashes. It's not because everyone just hates Japanese now. It's because they were overinflated for what they actually were. You can't have a card that's easier to grade be worth more than a card that's harder to grade. Like, it doesn't make sense if it's the same exact card. And so that's what's happening. That's why you see things coming down.
Supply and demand. That's all I can really say. Supply and demand. So, and same with English. I mean, English, like Alex was saying about our print quality, but you also have to understand English is the number 2 most spoken language in the world. Mandarin's number 1, right? But it's one of the most spoken languages in the world, right? And so, because of that, there is just a heightened demand when it comes to English cards. It is okay. How about this? I can make this easy. It is the number 1 most sought after language when it comes to the specific trading card game. So you don't have just individuals from just within the United States. Like, you've got all these other, English speaking countries that are seeing like how they can get their hands on these cards. Right. And
also Japanese is cheaper.
Oh yeah, that's true. As well. It's way cheaper.
MSRP on a Japanese box for 24 packs is like half the amount of an English booster box with 36. So it's like, it's 35. Cheaper to get 48 Japanese packs than it is, 36 English. So the cards are already cheaper and they're easier to grade. It's just like, it's obviously why they go for less.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous to see how cheap it is. That's for sure. Yeah, that's what I thought. English is the most second spoken. Okay. But it's the number 1 for Pokemon. All right. Don't see a lot of Mandarin Pokemon these days. Not super popular. But yeah, I don't know. Let's start. We're almost an hour in. I think it's time for us to start getting questions. If everyone has any questions, and for people that are asking questions about surging, all things surging, we're going to talk about that on next week's live. That'll be next week's topic. So we're still trying to get some more information on that. That should be revealed in the next couple of days. But yeah, no. So, and make sure, guys, really helps the channel. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. But let's see if there's some older ones that we can go, because we had a lot of questions early in the very beginning of the stream.
I gotta cause FOMO one more time, guys. When it comes to surging, it's not good.
What does that mean?
I'm not revealing your info. I'm just saying it ain't good.
When it comes to surging, it's not good. I don't know what you mean by that.
We'll all know what you mean whenever you release your numbers.
That's crazy. Is that what the rumors are saying?
I don't know. You tell us. You're the where the rumor stops.
Like I said before, man, I'm still waiting to get the full deets, bro. What are we talking about here?
All right. I like it.
I've heard some people tell me things and then they've asked, but should hopefully get something rolling here shortly, but we'll see.
It's not my info to release, so.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess. But so as far as, let's see, questions go, let's see if there's one that is worth, I mean, yeah, going all the way back is always fun. Stop the fear mongering.
I'll take one that just came in while you're looking for one. Jay said, Alex, card show question. Did you only bring items that were ripe to sell? So what I brought is, I had a deal already pre-made for a bunch of XY Sun and Moon boxes. So I brought a few. So I had XY Sun and Moon boxes. I had a bunch of modern graded, whether it be XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet graded cards. I tried to bring some of the top ones with like the most popular characters, the top hits. I did have some singles. I had loose packs that I sold out of a pack dispenser. I brought like some, my Game Boy games and, just all that kind of stuff. And very clearly, XY Sun and Moon boxes were the big mover. I had the most people ask about them. I sold the most of them. People bought some packs here and there. And then the highest of the end graded cards sold. people were really looking to spend money on the highest end. So a lot of like the regular like PSA 10s that were like, you know, $50, $75, most of those didn't sell. Any of the cards that were priced like 2, 3, 4, 500 plus, those were the cards that sold. And so, yeah, for Collecticon, I would say higher end graded cards, singles do well, higher end graded product, or I mean, higher end sealed product. Like that's the stuff you probably want to bring.
So just kind of addressing the question, are SV PCETBs actually good buys? Some of the PCETBs are outpacing the booster boxes. I still hate them. I think it just depends on which ones. I think that's the most important thing to consider, right? Like I'm not picking up any of the PCETBs from, you know, set 4, 5, and actually, how is Twilight's PCETB doing? That one I don't actually know.
I would say for sure for specialty sets, I think it's the #1 investment for specialty sets.
Oh, it's huge for specialty.
And I do think overall, this is a whole new era. Like the PCETBs and Scarlet and Violet are much better than the Sword and Shield ones because they do have that promo card, that stamp promo card. And so, yeah, I mean, if you don't want to go booster box and you want to get PCETB, I think that's completely fine. I think those two products are very clearly the top two. I think depending on the set, which one will perform better, it's hard to tell. But yeah, either way you want to go, in my opinion.
I personally think it comes down to the promo. I think it's as simple as that. I mean, doesn't need to get more complicated. Because if you do look at the promo cards for some of the ones that have been released so far, like when it comes to the Paradox Rift ones, did Paradox, what was Paradox's promo? Was it even anything crazy?
Didn't they have two, or like the Iron Jugulus and the Iron Moth? Or is that, am I thinking something different?
I know
that could have been like the Cosmos promos.
Well, I know Flutter Main was
okay. That might have been it.
Well, that was for Temporal. That was for Temporal, but I mean, they're just not noteworthy like promos, I guess is the thing, right? And then it was Iron Thorn was for the Virizion box. So it's like these are ones that are not notable. Like it's not one that's crazy that people are kind of like into. So for me, I think it really just boils down to, do you think that the promo is going to be one that's popular? Obviously, we realize with the Obsidian Flames one, not only the grading play, but it finishes off the trio of what was introduced in Stellar Crown of the scene with the Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. And so it made sense why it went up. Plus it's a Charmander, and Charmanders just do well, right? So when I'm looking at the box for now, I mean, I guess it really comes down to how much weight do you put in the Magneton, or if you're wrong, how much weight do you put in the actual set itself? Because I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made that it's worth picking up regardless, just based on the fact that it's going to be a very popular set, but you're also taking a risk too, because the promo itself is, I don't know, maybe people like the Magneton promo more than me, but I know that Paldea just seemed very, very much like an easy pickup because the promo on that was gorgeous, right? And I was super high on the Charmander one when it first came out too. So those are the things you got to really look for. And then specialty, like Alex was saying.
You know what's funny about Surging Spark? It's like we're in such a lose-lose situation as content creators, because here's the thing. When it comes out of the gate and it does extremely well and goes up in price, it's going to be because people like me and you manipulated it. But if it comes out and it was overprinted and it goes down and it's not good, it's, oh, you guys are wrong, you guys are stupid. There's no winning. It's not like, oh yeah, we didn't warn everybody and try to tell everyone to buy pre-orders early and now everyone's up on their money. It's like, well, yeah, because you guys manipulated it. It's really funny, right? How that works.
Classic. It's always a lose. Do we think that the sealed booster bundles of 151 will have the same sales premium as the evolving ones? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, there's always going to be a premium on bundles, at least for now, that we've seen. So, I mean, 1,200 is crazy, but 1,200 is that crazy because of the price of evolving plus the premium. So it really just comes down to what we're looking at with the price of ETBs, I guess. I mean, that's kind of the best thing I can really say. If evolving goes up, or sorry, if 151 continues to climb, let's say the ETB goes like $200 a box, then yeah, I think it's possible that it could get there. But we're still quite a ways away from that.
What are we talking about? Evolving Skies bundles?
Like booster bundles.
So
booster bundles. Obviously, that's the product that for some reason always has a massive.
right.
Premium.
So they're saying it's $1,200.
I think they're saying that is for a display or a case. I can look it up and see. But Evolving Sky.
I mean.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the they're looking at the wrong product, I think, because at least from what I'm seeing online, it's the build and battles that are 1,200.
I don't think they made bundles back then, did they?
They had. That's a great.
I don't think they made bundles back then.
Bundles came out. When did they have bundles?
I think it was like later, like the last 4, maybe, if that.
I think he meant, yeah. Well, because build and battles are at 1,200 if that's what he's referencing. But
that was a good try though. You almost got me, but I'm a little quicker than that, guys.
Yeah, right.
You tried the trick questions on me, but I stopped them in their tracks.
And there was no 151 build and battle. That's not something they do for special.
I think people just try to make us look stupid, dude. They think we don't know our stuff. They're trying to catch us.
Booster bundles were first introduced. Let's see.
They are not the same. No, Norner.
They're completely different products.
Build and battles. They have 4. They're what pre-release kits were. They're the same thing. They're 4 packs and like a promo deck with a promo card in it. They're nowhere near the same as bundles. Bundles are just 6 packs, no cards.
When did the first one come out?
And yeah, build and battles and pre-releases, depending on the promo cards and how those do, how like playable they are, how much they're worth graded, they've always had premiums, depending on if they're good. Like if you go back to what was it Team Up that had the Charizard promo? Like they've always had premiums that they have good cards to grade. I think one of them had like a Lugia that was gradable, and so those have always had different variances of premiums because of the cards inside and the packs.
Yeah, I think it was a Scarlet and Violet introduction. Because I can't recall having ever seen.
Well, obviously there's Crown Zenith ones. And then I think there's Silver Tempest as well, right?
Silver Tempest?
I'm pretty sure there's Silver Tempest.
Yes, they did. Wait, no, is that built? See, I look it up and it comes with. Yeah, they did have one. So then LO must have had one too, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's always these new products being introduced. It's hard to keep up. It's just, and that's why I feel like there's always like plays to be made for people that really keep up with all these things. It's kind of like when the sleeve packs took a big run on Evolving Skies and some other sets. Like there's always plays out there if you pay close enough attention. It
was Fusion. Fusion is when it was introduced. So it was right after Evolving.
Okay.
So interesting. Yeah, I know. The product changing is insane. Let's see if there's another one we can look at. Jeez Louise. How can HF ETBs go? It has a $400 charge of many popular full art shinings, thanks. Shining Pokemon, thanks.
Dude, I give up on Hidden Fates. Like
I lost.
It made a run to $200, and then it fell back down again. I give up on this stupid product.
I give up on Hidden. That is the one product that is just not. I mean, I've missed on some things before, but Hidden Fates just confuses me. At least I can explain what happened with other things, but Hidden Fates, I have no explanation. My only guess is that it's because we've got new shiny sets and they're shiny alt arts, or that doesn't even make sense to me. Alt arts are the new cool thing over shiny full arts. Like, I don't really know, like, cause it's a sweet set. I love Hidden Fates, but it's like, I don't know. I don't get it. I honest to God do not get it.
The only thing that makes sense to me, it's kind of how I explain it, but like, it doesn't make sense because now the cards are moving, is I used to always explain it as people were kind of tired of that, like that artwork, that full art artwork, or that they just copy pasted on a shiny version, a gold version, a rainbow version, a full art version. And I think people were just wanting that SIR, that alternate art style on cards now. But a lot of the Hidden Fates cards are actually moving in value now. So it's like
Are they
that kind of
actually?
theory went out the window. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Well, which ones are moving? Are all of them or just certain ones?
I mean, a lot of the top ones have seen pretty decent rises this year. And so it's like, I really thought people were just kind of sick of that like copy paste full art artwork, and they wanted like a scene, like a SIR alt art scene. And so that was kind of how I rationalized it, but maybe not.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Some of them, at least on the year, have gone up. Some of them have gone sideways. Some have gone down. The Gardevoir went down 20% on the year. Where's the Sylveon on the year? That one is on the year. It's up 3.85%. Looks like a lot of them have retraced. The Sylveon was at 88, and now it says it's going for 70. Wow. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's really confusing. It's a set. Here's my fear with this set is I look at the value of everything on the set and I'm like, oh man, like I feel like it's a pretty good opportunity to be able to pick up some Hidden Fates. I'll just pick it up later. I want to put my money elsewhere. And then by the time Hidden Fates actually hits, I'm going to have missed the boat because I kept waiting saying that, oh, it's fine. It's not going up right now. It's just been going sideways and down.
Well,
But
I mean,
yeah,
the thing with Hidden Fates,
it's going to pop up at some point, and you're just going to have to ask yourself the question, are you willing to wait? Because right now it's just been sideways for 3 years, which is ridiculously long. And there's going to be a day when it goes up, and when it does, it's going to go to 400, and we're all going to not be surprised. But did you get in and wait that long?
Well, I was going to say it mathematically doesn't make sense. So there's one seller left of Hidden Fates packs on TCG Player. They have 6 packs left at $19.99 plus $2.99 shipping, which is $23. Then it jumps to $24 and $25 a pack. And so you have roughly $230 to $250 in packs. There's 10 packs. You have a promo card that's worth $20 plus dollars. There's literally $250 to $270 in value in $180, $185 ETB. It doesn't make sense. And eventually enough people are going to take advantage of that play, and it is going to run out. It's just amazing that more people haven't taken advantage of it.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting. I mean, there's one at 170, couple at 180. I mean, yeah, it's weird. It just comes down to the listings, I guess, and how much are going to continue to slowly get, bought up at this point. I think this is more of a statement, but someone is saying that they think is going to trigger for loss to run because of the Pikachu versus new people in the hobby. That's an interesting take.
What?
So he's saying that they think that surging is going to trigger Lost Origins to go on a run because of the Pikachu. So
the Pikachu VMAX. I got you.
Like from the trainer gallery.
I get it now. Yeah.
I mean, there could be that correlation. It's definitely possible. You could. I mean, here's the thing, right? People get nostalgic very easily. People see a Pikachu chase card, and all of a sudden, before you know it, Vivid Voltage goes up because people are a huge fan of the old Pikachu Rainbow. That's kind of what happens with Megas, right? That's what we're kind of anticipating is going to happen with the new set, right? Or the new game that's going to come out. ZA. I built a sizable seal collection. No business, never sold anything. What kind of person should I talk to for business advice before I start selling and realize some gains in my investment? Well, it's kind of hard because it's like you can't really talk to a lot of like financial professionals about this kind of thing, other than if you're talking about it like a tax professional. That's what I would say for sure. And they can tell you how to best handle realizing your gains since it's not traditional. That's really all I can say, I guess.
I would say you just
advisor.
I would decide if you want to be in this business. Like if you're just trying to realize gains in your investment, I think Probstein is probably going to be your best option for sealed product. You can just send it all to them. They're going to auction it through their eBay store. They get higher prices than average already. And you're going to pay probably less fees selling with them if your sealed product is at high enough values. And that'd be like a good out for you. Just reach out to them and consign with them, because then you don't have to do any of the work of selling. You don't have to do any of the work of building everything up and everything. They'll just sell it for you, send you a check. Now, if it's something where you're wanting to like now start a business and actually like buy and sell like as a part-time business or end up going full-time one day, that's a different story. But if it's just to like realize gains in your sealed collection, I would just find a consignment service, man. Just why go through all the effort? You're going to get about the same, if not better money using them.
Do you buy every? I mean, we already kind of talked about this, but no, definitely not. I look at the promos.
Thrifty, I see Thrifty in chat. So, yeah, Thrifty, I actually have them up at 3-day auctions. I sent the Charizards last night. I bought one from her on, she was vending right next to us, and she wanted to get out of hers, and I just like, I'll take a flyer on it. I think I can probably get it listed before it crashes that back down.
Question for both of us. Are you finding it tough to find good deals in this market on certain favorite items of yours over the last few years?
Certain, I mean, that's so broad. Like certain items, well, sure. Like
I was like, there's multiple ways I can answer this.
I will say, like, if you're looking for like older items like Sun and Moon, XY, and back, talking about Collecticon, I think that is where you want to go. You know, because you'll be able to find better deals because obviously there's no fees. If you offer people cash, they're willing to work better deals. Like that is one thing good, like, you know, local shows are good for, or Collecticons and other venues are good for, is finding items that you can't really find online. I actually said that in my video today, guys. You know, a lot of people have seen PokeRevs he makes where he shows all the boxes that he has. Like he made a short where he had all kind of black and white boxes. And you better believe he has just as many XY and Sun and Moon boxes. He's going to rip all those down. He's going to seed them in his mystery packs. And that's his business, right? And PokeVault does it, and Danny Phantom, and all these guys make mystery packs. Then you have all the streamers who constantly need those items, me, myself included, to stream. You know, I'm going to break a breakthrough box this week because it brings people in. People like to open that stuff. They like the gamble of it. And so I believe in 2 to 5 years, there are going to be boxes in XY Sun and Moon that you're not going to be able to find in the market. And it'll be one of those things where everyone will talk about, hey, did you see a Flashfire box is coming to market? It's getting auctioned. It's the only one in the market. What do you think it's going to go for? Or, oh my gosh, did you see a team up box just hit the market at auction? Like, I think it's going to get to that point where some of these higher end boxes are going to be like sort of the mid-era and vintage boxes, to where there's very few, if ever any, available on the open market at any time. We're already seeing a lot of these with like 5 or 10 available in some of these eras. And I think we're getting very close to that because of mystery packs and because of rip and ship culture. And it's going to get harder and harder to find these things. Sword and Shield, it still has some time. There's a lot of that product out there still. But guys, the older these things get, the harder and harder it's going to be able to find.
Yeah, I guess maybe to kind of answer this question more broadly, I guess, since it's kind of a broad question, it depends on if you're asking through the context of investments or like just things I like to add to my collection. Because like adding things to my collection, it you know, buying hollows was really difficult a while ago for like Diamond and Pearl era stuff, but recently there's been a lot that have surfaced on the market in PSA 10s. And so it's easier for me to find those that I want to add to my collection rather than just going and buying the packs. And then as far as some of the sealed product goes, I would say I haven't really been seeking it out as much, so it's hard to know. But yeah, I guess it's hard to answer that question, I guess. But I have looked slightly, and it was relatively as easy, if not like maybe slightly harder. So, you know, kind of a tough answer with that. And then I guess from now talking from an investment perspective, I mean, yeah, obviously I can't get Lost Storage and booster boxes again at the same price, but in terms of finding opportunities for investments, I don't think it's been hard at all. I mean, I've been harping on Paradox Rift boosters forever, other booster boxes that I'm a huge fan of that are decent plays, but not even crazy plays. And we've seen just the kind of growth of all of these booster boxes continue to climb. And you know, there's other opportunities and deals that are continuously presenting themselves, whether it be through the distro pages or special weekly page specials on the Fridays that we have. For those of you guys that don't know, our distros offer weekly specials on Friday. I mean, we just had one that was actually really cool where it was like buy one, get one free of the Paldea chest, I think it was what it was called. And if you didn't know, the Paldea chest had like the promo that was going for $10 on top of the packs. And then there was also another one where they were doing like these specialty boxes that buy one and it was like 50% off and you were getting $2 a pack and like some crazy stuff like that. So I guess it's a little bit hard for me to answer past the fact that I do have access to distro. But even then, I see a lot of people in the chat that take advantage of sales that happen on like Safari Zone and other sites. And it seems like opportunities are still very available.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things where I think people want to like find this diamond in the rough type thing where like no one knows about and you can make infinite like margin on it. And I think if you talk to most everyone in the hobby that's successful, they're going to tell you there's no secret, there's no tricks. It's just large amounts of volume. It's keeping your nose to the grind. It's constantly taking advantage of deals when they're there. It's not overthinking. I think that's the biggest thing. Stop overthinking things. Stop thinking there's something better. Or like what I see a lot of people do is they'll come across an item and they'll see it for cheap and under market, and they immediately start questioning why it's that cheap. They'll like start looking around. Was there a reprint, or why is this cheap? Is this person trusted? Is what's going on? Are they this cheap elsewhere? And then they'll go back and it's gone. Someone already sniped it. And I think it's just not overthinking things, taking advantage of deals when they're there, and just building those margins, compounding, and it does well over time.
Okay, so it looks like it was actually LO that had booster boxes. I thought it was Fusion, but I guess not. It was LO for booster bundles. Adam says, did either of you guys buy any battle styles for 105 during the Game Nerd sale this past weekend?
No, I heard about it. It was all over my Discord, but I've got all the battle styles I need. Like 105, it'd be buying it to flip, and it's like there might be some money there, but going through all the trouble to buy it all and then try to sell it and eat shipping and fees, it just isn't. It wasn't worth it enough for me to make the play. But anyone that did, hey, there's another one. There's a nice play you could have made some margin, move on.
Yeah, I didn't even know what was going on. I'm way too busy. Unless someone specifically pings me about it. Let's see if we got a couple more that we can answer here.
I probably shouldn't do this because it's from someone that likes to talk shit on me, but take your super chat.
Oh, I got a super chat. Let's go, baby. Eli, what's your brick and mortar coming? Called again? I'm bringing you all my bulk. Can you tell us the exchange rate? I might film it.
Dude, give him half as much.
Half as much. So you misunderstand. First and foremost, thanks for the super chat. So we actually make you pay us to take it because we're just going to use it for fuel in the back. Like it's just a bonfire. We just take all the bulk we buy and we just use it to keep us warm at night. Cause Phoenix obviously gets cold all the time. So it's very rarely like it's valuable. It's valuable stuff when you need fuel. No, our buy rate is it's half a penny per card or $5 per thousand. So, but I mean, the thing about Pokemon bulk is it's kind of worthless right now. So we're just like, hey, if you want to sell us Pokemon bulk, $5 a 1,000. And we've had a lot of people bring in and sell it to us at that rate. Because if I'm correct, 90 to 90, I don't actually know if there's another shop right now in the local like Phoenix area that is buying bulk. Because every single other person that I've talked to that sold us their bulk says no one is buying it. Because it's just like, it's just not really competitive right now. Like this isn't COVID where you could sell it for 7 cents a pop and cards were worth so much more. Bulk is just, it's kind of tanked pretty aggressively, but we're just going to do what we always do with our bulk and just hope that we can find cards over 10 cents.
What does Mason do? He just stacks it and calls it Bulk Mountain or something?
Yeah, Bulk Mountain. Yeah. Yeah. He's like,
I mean, I know my local card shops, they're at half a cent. I think that's kind of the going rate.
I mean, I'm probably sitting on over 500,000 bulk at this point of Pokemon that were just sitting, right? Like just need to do something with it at some point. So
what about like, do you give any like any more on like the reverses or hollow rares or anything?
Like a penny or two more, nothing crazy. Like it's just, there's so much of it. There's so much of it. And a lot of times people will open packs in the shop and they'll just take the rare and then they'll just give us everything else. Like they're just like, take it. Like we don't even want it. So we're more than happy to buy it.
Here's the problem is like, going back to how many cards are printed, like Pokemon is obviously more of a collector hobby than a player hobby. It's not taking anything away from the player base. It still is an extremely strong player base, but in relative terms to like how many collectors there are, there's more collectors. And so with that being said, that means there's probably too much of those common uncommons, rares, hollow rares to go around. Like there's enough out there for the players already. And it's like, I just don't understand what's ever going to bring people back to buy all these things.
Well, at least speaking for myself, the reverse hollows and hollows are also really difficult to run through the machines, because foil recognition really messes with things. And so it's even more of a pain in the ass to purchase it, because we have a ton that we're like, how are we going to sell this? But yeah,
I mean, I know
and
there's
if you
some
wanna film
crazy
it, I'm more
grading
than
plays.
happy.
There's some wacky grading plays on like reverses and hollow rares, like some like you wouldn't believe. I mean, $100 plus on some of those cards that you can get for grading PSA 10 reverses and hollow rares. Oh, even like reverse common uncommon cards. Like I've seen some reverse Pikachus do some crazy things.
But yeah, if you wanna film the interaction, I'd be more than happy to do that. But yeah, it's Phoenix Cards is the name of the shop. We're located in Ahwatukee. I will say though, I am only in the shop Tuesday evenings past 4, and then I'm in the shop most of Friday, and then depending upon how busy I am, either all day Thursday or half of Thursday. So keep that in mind when it comes to if you're wanting to specifically see me. So, because there's a lot of people that'll ask for me and want to come see me in the shop, and then they see my wife, and then my wife's like, they were upset that they didn't see you and they saw me, and I'm sad now because why do they care?
Dude, there's like a pretty big. So I was talking to a guy at Collecticon about a pretty big card show out by you. You may want to check into.
What card show?
TCG Topia.
Yeah, I've been to one of them before. It sucked. It sucked a lot.
It sucked?
I hated it. I thought it was so bad.
What was wrong with it?
Oh my god. So
apparently he's got like Gary King Pokemon, some other people going to it now.
This must be the upcoming one then. I know there's
it's like in October.
There's one that's happening this month.
Yeah.
I know here's
I mean, I met the guy who ran it. He seemed like a good dude.
I mean, he could be a good guy, but the event could still blow.
True.
Like at least the one that I went to, right?
It's kind of like we're good guys, but our podcast blows.
Yeah, this sucks, bro. We got freaking Typhlosion P Diddy fan. No.
what was wrong with it?
Oh, well, okay. So to be fair, I want to preface by saying this before I just immediately jump to conclusions on things. I've only been to one TCG Topia. It could have been, it could have been a bad one, but the one that I went to, it had posted that I was going to have like a ton of vendors, and it had like it had less than what it really was advertising, and all the vendors were copy paste. Like it was very much like every vendor had the same old stuff where, okay, just modern product, and most of it is just slightly overpriced from what TCG Player market was. It wasn't really anything that it felt like, oh, really, I want to pick this up as a deal. And when it came to all the older stuff, the thing that pissed me off the most was how unorganized everyone was at their booths. Because if I wanted to see a card and I was like, what's the condition of that card? No, like 90% of the people or 80% of the people either one, didn't label what it was. And so I had to physically ask them to grab it from the case so that I could see what the condition was, because they didn't label it LP, HP. And then the people that labeled it, like I remember seeing near mint cards that were damaged and being like, this is not near mint condition. So you had people that were like falsely going through the process of selling their cards. And then on top of that, you're in an area that was very cramped. Like the actual event space was kind of small where it was being hosted, is at like some church. And I'm not even kidding you. Imagine you're trying to get conditions on a card, asking them, and while this is happening, there's people that are elbow to elbow with you trying to like move a line down. And so it felt like I was in a rush to like actually look at the cards themselves, because it was like you were constantly having to shuffle through so that other people could also go look at the booth. So it just was like, it felt like it was very unorganized. It felt kind of clustered, like I said before. And then another thing too was in terms of sealed product, like sealed product was like very minimal. Like I saw very, and you know me, I'm a huge sealed product fan. And like one of the things they advertised is like, oh, there's going to be vintage. And they had like a vintage like fossil box. And like one person had like a vintage base set box. And I'm like, so like, that's it? Like, that's all I'm going to find here? So it just Thrifty
said in the chat, welcome to card shows, big dog. I was gonna say that same thing, dude. Like Collecticon might be a notch better because there's a little more space and there's a little more going on. But yeah, it's like 90% of the booths are gonna have the same things. They're gonna be a little bit overpriced. They're overpriced for you. It's built for you to talk them down to near market, maybe a little under market. Very little sealed product at most booths. The older sealed products, it's way overpriced. Like
way overpriced.
That's just kind of card shows, dude. That's not TCG Topia. That's just vendors anywhere, I think.
Well, it's annoying to me too, because it's like you would think that one. And here's my thing: if I do get a booth, I know exactly how I'm gonna run it. It's gonna be so easy, because the problem with all these booths is you think someone would try and stand out and like put some effort into actually their space. But most of these booths, they're literally like, all right, I'm going to get my glass display. I'm going to put my cards in it. And then you can look through the glass display. And then I just have like a shelf in the back displaying some product, and that's it. Like it is.
Dude, you just crushed me. That was literally me.
Bro, put some effort in, man. Put some effort in. Make it fun.
You just described my booth to a T, dude.
Dude, make some effort in your booth. My wife and I were talking about it because she's very like detail oriented. If you come to my shop, right? Because here's my thing. I will shop at some of the other local card stores because I've gotten really into Magic, and some of them have singles that I like. And I will go to these shops, and it's just depressing to walk into. Like, first and foremost, can we get some air freshener in these shops? Like, holy crap, it just smells like BO. And then second off, the card, like the shops are all so like dull looking, and like it's October, right? We're getting ready for Halloween. You come into our shop, we've got cobwebs all over. We've got Pokemon displayed, like Halloween decorations displayed everywhere, banners everywhere. We've got spiders on the counter. We've got, Pokemon plushies that are all themed for Pokemon, like, or for October. So like for us, and it smells really good. So it's like, when you come into our shop, it's very much like we want it to be an experience, but it feels like with a lot of these people that have card stores or like booths, it feels like they put little to no effort on their actual booth. And so for me, I want to run my booth in the same way I would our shop, which is I want to make it to where you go to it and it's fun, because it's not just like some basic booth. Like, I don't know, have some personality and don't be boring. It's just, I don't know. That's another thing.
I completely agree with you. Like if I was like taking vending and live selling seriously, I would definitely do some of the things some of the bigger guys do. And I would go above and beyond to like really decorate and like stand out. So I do see what you're saying there for sure. But like, honestly, you're going to be very disappointed, because even like these top shows like Nationals, Collecticon, it's probably going to be similar, like vendor wise, like, because you got to think, dude, it's like the actual show they have no say over how a vendor runs their booth. So it's just like they have the tables, they have the cases, but outside of that, it's all on you to decorate. And the reality is most of these people just aren't going to go the extra mile. And most of the people are going to be kind of just like basic and have normal average stuff that everyone has. And it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, it's super easy for you to jump in and take the world by storm. Rob's wife, it looks like, got on here and said, come vend with her up in New Jersey. So here, Rob's wife, what you have to do though, you have to fly him out, pay for his hotel. Like, Eli's a celebrity and he deserves to be pampered.
What? That is crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna come up and everyone's gonna know me and my 7,000 subscribers.
Take Mimic Brew gave you another super chat. Put it on screen for him. He paid you good money.
Thank you, good sir. I appreciate it. Need tons of reverse hauls. Do you sell in shop, bro? If you want reverse hauls, we'll sell you a crap ton of them for sure, man. If you want to come into the shop. What's today? I should be in Friday. Because we've got Commander Night every Friday. I'll be in the shop on like Friday. I want to say like around 2 or 3. If you want to come in, or if you want to call ahead of time and just kind of see if I'm there yet, I'd be more than happy to like have a conversation with you about buying/selling bulk. Because I mean, for anyone that's interested, like I said, we've got so much bulk. We're like, yo, get rid of them. Because we used to have connections with a guy who've kind of fallen out of touch back before we started buying bulk again, where the guy was like, hey, I will buy bulk from you for like 2 pennies. And so we're like, fantastic. We're buying bulk for a penny, selling it for 2 pennies, because he had mystery bags that he made it for people at his store, and it was super popular. Same goes with reverse hollows. So we're always open to negotiations for people that are interested in like having us as like a bulk supplier, because we do get a ton.
Yeah, Thrifty saying Mason's booth was OP. Yeah, Mason goes above and beyond. He gets like an entire section. He builds like a labyrinth through it with all these like different shelving and like tables and stuff. So like Mason does go above and beyond. I will say I did have a chance to talk with Mason, and he's willing to come on for one of these, but he has to come on at night.
Did he say that? I texted him.
He said it's really hard for him to take a break in the middle of the day, so we'll have to do like one of these at night if you ever can to get Mason on a.
I can totally do it for Thursday. It depends what time is night, I guess, for people. Because I'm at the shop until close on Tuesdays. So I could make it work, but it'd have to be like late. It'd have to be like 8 o'clock or 7:30 my time. So because literally as soon as we get done here, I just head straight to the shop typically. But yeah, no, I messaged him right before I left last week, and he said that Mondays were the best days for him because he does work all day Tuesday. So, but I would love to have him on. Obviously, you know, I've had him on before, and you've had him on, so always a fan of having on the homies. But
cool.
Yeah. If you want to communicate more with him, we can talk about setting it up for next week. If you want to try and get that rolling next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday should work. Tuesday night. Is it still possible to join the wholesale membership? So I'll kind of briefly discuss this right now with the wholesale membership. So our old website that we were trying to develop had a lot of things that just didn't suit well for what we were trying to set up for when the website was going to go live for us to move from the Discord to run everything. And so because of that, we had to get a new website, and we just now are in the process of transferring that over. Well, the issue right now is that we charged everyone for the month that was in the program, and we're still just about to finish up the subscription setup for the new site. So we're waiting for that to get migrated over. It should be done in the next couple of days. I mean, I just did some testing yesterday. We can charge people on the account. The only issue we're running into right now is we're trying to set it up for recurring and prorating so that people don't have to go in and automatically charge each month, and then we can prorate them to the first of every month. So once that's set up, that should hopefully be, you know, done, like I said, over the next couple of days. It's my top priority as soon as I get done here. Then it will be available. I will say, though, after I do get it migrated, I am going to have to raise the price to $109.99. So we had the price at $115 when we were on Patreon, and then I was able to lower it as like a special in when we got to the new site. But the demand for the program's been so high, especially with all the new sets coming out, and I just want to make sure that I can obviously find that equilibrium of spend to allocation balance for people. So we're going to definitely up it, and then maybe have to cap it again, because we've had like 20 people join the program in the past month. So it's been an insane surge. I think we're up to like 135 or 140 people in the program at this point.
Do I get commission on those?
Do you get commission on those? Yeah, buddy. Of course, man. Your commission is you get all of the surging spark allocation. You get all.
Dude, that's a deal, actually. That is a deal. Say no more.
Oh man,
you guys heard it here, by the way. You guys just heard that deal. That's a verbal contract.
Oh, is it a verbal contract? Is that why I winked? Eli, open a Canadian branch, bro. That's so funny. Opening a store.
Dude, in Canada. Go international. Take Pokemart International.
Pokemart International, baby. Dude, I'm gonna probably have to change the name at some point.
Dude, you're gonna have to, because there was another. So there was another Pokemart at Collecticon. They had a booth all set up. It wasn't Pokemart USA, but
that absolute scammer, bro.
I'm telling you, man.
No one can use Pokemart other than me. It's the
There's
most.
There's another Pokemart on YouTube too.
Is there really, dude?
Yeah.
It's super original using the Pokemart name. I'm probably gonna have to change it at some point. Dude, I'm thinking nostalgia collector. Just how do I take your name and then I just like change it slightly? How do I do that?
You can take it, man. I don't need it.
Oh, you don't need it? All right. Cool.
I was thinking about going to just straight nomics anyway. Nostalgia is just too long.
You do? Okay, how about this? You still have nostalgia nomics. I'll just be nomics, and then we'll.
No, I want to be nomics, because when I was like signing, energy cards this weekend, I was really realizing I need a smaller name.
Nostalgic Mart. There you go, baby. Nostalgianomics Mart. Poke Prius is crazy. I just Google and robo contracts are legally binding in Arizona, Missouri. Get out of here, Alfred. He's such
there you go.
Troll.
Alfred, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, Alfred. You get no Pokemon. That's what you just confirmed.
Mason's in the chat. Mason, what night works for you next week, man?
Nasnam.
We were just talking about you, Mason. We're trying to get you on here.
We got to get him on the stream, man. Got to make it work. Then basically...
Siles Games. I remember you guys. It was nice meeting you two. Hit me on Discord, he says. All right, will do. Will do.
We can figure it out from there. Matthew, you're so funny. Shout out to Rob's wife, as always, carrying the relationship. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. Why does the TCG Player apps suck so much? That's a great question. What do you think is a better future bet looking into next year? Gym Heroes or Team Rocket Returns? That is a vintage question. But it makes sense. I you know why he's asking it, right? Because he's anticipating.
Yeah, I know exactly why.
Yeah. Dude.
See, okay, Team Rocket Returns. So Team Rocket's definitely a stronger, I think like a stronger brand, like I don't know, not brand, but like dude, it's stronger.
Dude, I don't know. Dude, Jim is insane. Jim is insane.
Well, here's the thing about Jim, it's Gen 1. Like I like the Gen 1 sets, like Team Rocket, even like Team Rocket, the Gen 1, like the Team Rocket Return set's better, but there's less people that like were in the hobby at that time. There's less people that have memories of it. Most of the people were still in the hobby during the original Team Rocket and even Gym Heroes. Like that was kind of before things started to kind of trail off when Neo hit. But
I mean that's totally fair. Team Rocket Returns obviously is part of the EX era. You've got the gold stars, you've got the EX cards. So it's like, but I guess
here, I don't think you can go wrong. I think either one.
I think what makes it tough for me is the cards right now are already so expensive for Team Rocket Returns. Like, I guess, what are you trying to hit with? Because everything's already extremely expensive with the EX cards are better. So if you're like, oh man, I want to try and pick up some cards that'll go up in value. Like, I don't know, maybe some of the dark cards could go up more in value, but they're already like pretty expensive. And so for me, the demand is already super high for like the gym sets, but it's not like ridiculously expensive in the same way as the EX. So I don't know. I feel like it could be worth it.
I think I would go Team Rocket. Like I just,
well, what would you?
I personally think Team Rocket.
I
think Team Rocket's stronger, man.
What would you buy though?
What would I buy?
Yeah, like I'm talking singles here. Because that's my thing is I think that yes, Team Rocket, if you look at the value of the singles, is a stronger set. It's less supply. But my question is, what would you invest in within the singles? Because there's nothing that I see that's.
I wouldn't invest in vintage. So.
Well, then why are we even having this conversation?
I'm trying to help a brother out.
Oh, fair enough.
All right, let's take a look. What would I buy? Dude,
I mean, it's expensive getting EX. Like, I love EX. It's a great set. Like, Team Rocket Returns is fantastic, but it's like, I don't know what you would buy here. The only real argument I could make is, I mean, they have the stamp promos, or they have the stamps for all of the EX era, or was it just the back half? Because maybe
that's a good question.
Because maybe you could pick up some of the reverse hollow stamp cards. I don't know if that was the thing that was the
honestly, like I haven't looked through it. I would have to dig in and like do my due diligence to answer this question better. But I would probably look for some of the cards. Like, you know, I'm looking through the set right now on Pokelector, like something like the Mewtwo, the Snorlax, maybe like some of the legendary birds, like some of those Rocket, you know, Dark Rocket EX cards, maybe some of the hollows. And I would go look through and see which ones had very huge price disparities between like the PSA 9 and PSA 10s, or even down to PSA 8 if the 9s are so high. And I would probably maybe pick some of those up in hopes that people got tired of trying to wait for a 10 to get more affordable, and they just start jumping on the 9s. Because I've said this before, 9s can actually outpace 10s because the price point is more attractive. And so I'd probably maybe try to move into some of those if they're cheaper. So that's probably the route I would go, is some of the top cards, the most popular Pokemon, in maybe a lower grade, and hopefully you can make some margin there.
I mean, how much are they going for is the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would have to do a whole video where I broke it all down and looked at it, because I just don't know that market well enough off the top of my head. But that's how I would approach it.
Because I agree with you. I like the set more, but I guess my thing is I don't see there to be as many potential opportunities as my fear. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you could always say, I'm going to go the sealed route, but even then, like, I don't know how much, I don't know. It's very speculative. To answer your question, Mason, on what our bulk rate is. So like for Vs, GXs, VMAXs, we charge 40 cents. And then for EXs is 20 cents. So we used to do 40 cents for EXs, and it was not a good idea, because holy crap, EXs are absolutely worthless, and most of them go for 40 cents. So, but yeah, that's kind of what our rate is. And then most of them we just put in a dollar binder, and then they sell pretty well. EXs just don't sell as well as Vs, obviously, is another big problem. So we're trying to discourage people from sending in more EXs. I mean, we'll still take them because we can use them for other things, but yeah. And then I'm trying to think if there's any other.
Mine all get given away in my box of second chances.
That's always a good thing to. I mean, that's good, man. That's a good thing to do. I've always enjoyed that for when you're doing breaks.
Yeah.
I ended up vending the second day, sold the Charizard for 150. Some dude from Netherlands bought me out of all my 151s. The next day, Charizard shopped to 220. 51 is too crazy right now. Dang.
Yeah, there's no way to predict these things. Like, there's just no way to predict some of these moves, and it's kind of why when investing, like, you're moving in your money into things that you feel are going to do good. Not all of them are going to turn out, but when these types of moves happen, you cash in. And so, like, all the people who are buying the Charizards that saw this move, like, you're cashing in right now. And it's not that, just call it what it is. You got lucky. Like, yeah, you thought it was going to move up over time because you think the card was good or whatever and the set was good. But whenever these moves happen, look, let's just call it what it is. We got lucky.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a super genius. You don't know anything. I planned this from the very get-go. I knew all this was going to happen. That's why I sent mine off to PSA, obviously. No, yeah, it's unpredictable. This market's unpredictable. Someone had mentioned about the Crown Zenith bundles. Yeah, smart investment. Buy the Crown Zenith booster bundles from Pokemon Center right now for $23.95. I see it as a no-brainer. I see it as a no-brainer picking up that product, because right now you've seen a price correction on the bundles, right? So like at their run-up, it was going for about $45 a bundle, if I'm correct, and now they're on $30 on TCG Player. You're still getting it for less than what market is. So, maybe it corrects further down, but like, I don't think it's going to correct much more. There wasn't a ton of supply that was out there. So if you can take advantage of that, I totally would, because I think it's going to be a really good hold just based off of Crown Zenith going out of rotation here in the next, 6 months. And it's going to be one of those sets that's going to do really well.
If that set was a booster box, man, it'd be right there with Evolving Skies, probably.
Oh, dude, it would be insane if that was.
It'd probably be $500 a box or something, or $600 now. Like, it'd be right behind Evolving Skies.
Alex, are we spreading FOMO on YouTube?
Always, dude. Like, that's what I'm told. I mean, here's the thing. I don't even watch all these channels, but apparently people on my Discord watch it. And so I always get sent these clips of like people using stuff I said in their videos, saying like I'm causing FOMO, causing panic, like manipulating the market. And I'm just like, dude, I'm just here making YouTube content. Like, it's just like this evil genius stuff is crazy.
Evil, yes. Genius, debatable. I think you're just
I didn't quite get that far.
You're fumbling through things, brother. I don't even know how you're still keeping it up, man.
I ask myself that every morning.
Bro, the facade has to fall at some point, man. People are on to you, Alex.
They are.
They know what's up. Yeah, no. I don't make content enough to be called a manipulator.
Consider yourself lucky, man.
Let's go. No, I did. I think I did tell you this before stream, but I did accidentally go viral on MTG Reddit subthread, so that was cool.
It's always fun, man.
Why are Mind Flayer decks so expensive? And it's just a screenshot of me owning all of the Mind Flayer deck market.
Well, I told you, man. It's like it's literally a lose-lose. If you're wrong, people will just call you out for being stupid and I know what you're talking about. If you're right, they'll call you out for being a manipulator. So it's just like you can't win in this market. Like right now, if you look at like sealed product and be like, well, Nostalgianomics said you should buy this. Well, yeah, but he manipulated all the prices, and so he's the reason they're higher.
Yeah, the Sea Sky boxes. That is one thing that is a good point. I feel like people are bringing them up. I think that the Sam's Club boxes are also fantastic. You get 14 packs for $40. That's incredible. I mean, I don't know. I think it. Here's my thing. I mean, they're still super available, right? I mean, I know it's the Sea Sky boxes.
I mean, it depends on where you live in the country. Like my Costco never has them, but other people walk out with them all the time. So
one of the guys that comes to my shop, who's a regular, he texted me, said he went to Sam's Club and saw them, and was asking if they should pick them up as an investment. So I don't know. I want to buy them, but how do I want to say this? The store owner inside of me is like, don't do it, because it's like it feels kind of wrong. But if there's so much available, it feels dumb not to. I don't know. There's so many of them. I mean, what's the pack per price on that again? 40 divided by 14.
It's extremely low.
It is $2.85 for crowns. I mean, that's stupid cheap, right? Yeah, crowns. I mean, you should pick those up if you can, man. You should.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like Mason's saying, I love when people come in and ask if something's an investment. Like, I get those kind of questions all the time too, and it's always like they send me something that's way under market. Like, should I buy Lost Origin boxes for $190 right now? Like, if you can find them at $190, why not? You can literally flip them the next day for a profit. It's like, if you find stuff under market, yeah, buy it. It's a no-brainer, right? Like, why even ask?
Here's what you got to do, right? You just tell them whichever product you're trying to get rid of. So like for you, Pokemon Go ETBs, and you say, bro, I got an opportunity of a lifetime for you right now. You can get in while it's cheap and just offload all of it. That's the professional.
Dude, I do not have any Pokemon Go ETBs. We went through this. I have a case left. I sold and took my losses long ago.
Don't lie to me. You run the Pokemon Go market, Alex. Don't lie to us. We know.
Dude, it's so funny. Like, it's the smallest amount of money I even took as a loss. And it's like it became a meme on Pokemon Go. Like, I got crushed. Do you remember when I took a break from YouTube? I think when I got my job back in the day, and people were in your chat saying that Alex like went bankrupt and quit the hobby because of Pokemon Go. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Of course I remember that.
Oh, man.
I do. I remember. That was back when you would quit, and I messaged you, and I was like, bro, when are you going to come back? Did you go bankrupt from Pokemon Go? That's what everyone's saying, dude.
It's wild, dude. The rumor mill is amazing in this hobby. You got to love it.
That's what, yeah. People, we do a little trolling. People like to have fun. Oh yeah, and then to answer people's question, just because I haven't addressed it. Yes, obviously I'm alive. Last Tuesday, my text message didn't go through for some because I was on a plane. Yeah, right. It was my wife's birthday on Tuesday, so I didn't stream because we were flying back home so that we could celebrate her birthday with her family. So. I did text you last second though. I will say
Eli's so rich now. They just jet set every time a birthday comes along.
Jet set, yeah, with my credit card points. Come
on.
Oh,
here we go. Guys, we got another hour starting here on credit cards.
Oh, the redemption. It's so good. $150 for a $600 round trip flight.
Well, you know what? Maybe you should pass on, those benefits to everyone else, man.
Hey, if anyone is into the credit card game and wants to trade, I have a ton of Alaska points. And if you want to do a trade and you've got Hyatt and or Chase points, I would love to trade with you. I am trying to book Hyatt, and I have over 200,000 Alaska points that I am needing to burn. So if anyone's interested,
what does that even mean? You have to go to Alaska?
No, I have Alaska Airlines points.
Where do they even fly to?
No. Well, so I have Alaska Airlines points is what I'm saying.
I don't know what that means. Like,
you don't. Oh wait, you're Midwest. That's why. So Alaska Airlines is like a huge, like, I guess, west of the United States airline. It's like it's basic. How do I want to say this? I think American Airlines, but like for the West Coast. And I say think American Airlines, but for the West Coast, because they're literally partnered together. And you can book American Airlines flights with Alaska. So, which a lot of people, they just can't do it because it's really hard to get access to them as a partner. But there was a recent change so that it's a lot easier to get the points. And I was able to obtain quite a bit of them. And so I don't need as much as I currently do. I won't go into it because I'll just bore people, but basically I am interested in getting some more Hyatt points because I like to book a Hyatt redemption. So if anyone's interested in doing a trade because they can't get access to Alaska points, let me know. So, but yeah, I booked my trip to back home. It's usually $600 round trip, and it was $150 in points. So I say $450 for each ticket. So Eli consists of credit card points, bulk, wholesale program, Prius. Yeah, right. Stamps. Sum me up, baby. Just got me going. Here's an important question that it needs to be asked by you, Alex. Do you watch Dragon Ball, the anime?
So which is funny, actually. So Dr. Applesauce interviewed the voice actor of Goku at Collecticon.
Oh, that's
and he was talking about it. And he was even saying that there's a lot of backlash about, oh, they're all going to be kids again. And a lot of people are kind of upset about that. But, you know, there was the original creator's, you know, creation or whatever before, you know, he passed away. And so a lot of people think it is still going to be good. I'm kind of on that boat of honestly, like a little negative, like, you know, because I watched GT. I've already seen the Kid Goku thing. Like, I'd rather there be like a different storyline, but you know, I'll probably end up watching it. I did end up watching Super. I liked Super a lot. So nothing's ever going to come before Dragon Ball Z. Like Z is always going to be top tier for me. But you know, all the other ones have their goods and bads. You know, I still prefer the original, just everything, the original soundtracks, all the original voices of Z, like just the original like dialogue. It was just, I just feel like it was better back then. That's all.
It's how it always is, brother.
Well, not really, because Dragon Ball isn't the greatest. Like, Dragon Ball Z is definitely where it became the best. Like, because Dragon Ball, it's the original, but it wasn't really better. It's one of the few things that, like, the second stage was actually better than the original.
You're speaking a different language to me right now, good sir.
Oh, come on. You didn't watch Dragon Ball?
No, I didn't.
Eli, get out of here, dude. You didn't watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid?
Dude, did you know I also didn't watch Naruto as a kid?
Well, I didn't either, but
and
Dragon Ball Z?
Avatar, Airbender?
You didn't watch that?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch. Dude,
What did you watch?
When I was a kid? Like, frick, man. I wasn't really allowed to watch TV until like middle school, maybe like late elementary school. My parents said SpongeBob rotted my brain. Yeah.
And then you ended up working in kids card games, which is, dude, it seems like it really worked out well.
Dude, I told the story of how I got into Pokemon. I was told that it was satanic in my household, so I couldn't collect Pokemon. And so my buddy would smuggle me his Pokemon cards.
Smuggling!
And then I would collect the ones that he would let me collect. And then eventually my mom found out about it, then told his mom it was satanic, got us both banned. And then I convinced my parents it wasn't later. And then I smuggled back the cards that he smuggled to me when it was still banned in his household, but it got unbanned in mine. That was the start of what got me into Pokemon. That was the beginning, dude.
I love how you call it smuggled.
It was, dude. When you're a little kid, you've got the goods in your backpack and you don't want your parents to know. You got to smuggle it in, hide it under your mattress. Like, you know, not in the best condition, but at least you got them.
Hey, man. And now you're starting to move into MTG. Like, if they thought Pokemon was satanic, you're in some trouble now. You're going to be disowned. You're not going to be invited to family barbecue night. I know, you're not going to be invited to Thanksgiving, bro.
No, that was always the funniest argument with my dad. Whenever I would talk with him, he'd be like, man, Harry Potter's so cool. It sucks that it uses witchcraft. I'm like, Dad, Gandalf is your favorite person from Lord of the Rings. What are you talking about? And he's like, it's different. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not different at all. It's the same thing. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. It's too deep, man. People put too much weight on this stuff. Oh wait, one question for Eli. What do you think about the UPC Greninja and GameStop? The exclusive Arceus is doing well. What's that mean, Alex?
I think I would refrain from getting attached to a certain product, right? Like all UPCs are not created equal. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. The last time I touched something GameStop
dude, here, put it this way. I made a video when they released the TCG Classic Collection box, and I urged everyone not to buy it. And I said, this is the worst product I've ever seen them create. The price point didn't make sense. It was a glorified theme deck, and people were paying $500 a box. And then it got released, and people were still paying $450. And I continued, and people were like, Alex, you're wrong on this. I mean, I remember watching podcasts where people were trying to like argue for it, and I stood my ground. I'm like, I don't care. This is the worst product. People were like, Alex, there's a grading play. There's this, there's that. I'm like, guys, this is the worst product I've ever seen. I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole. And now we're seeing this thing under $200. It's over 50% drop from retail. It's like a 75% drop from its all-time highs, and people still don't really want it. They're buying it. Honestly, it's getting closer to a buy. I'd buy it like $100, maybe like $120. I still don't even want it at $200 or under $200. Like, and so just because Celebrations UPC did what it did, Charizard UPC is doing what it did. I wouldn't just like look at those two and say, oh, well, yeah, it's a UPC, it's going to do well, or 151 UPC, and think like, oh, it's a UPC. I would be very careful falling into that trap.
Here's a question for you. What about at its current price at wholesale or sub wholesale? Because I mean, you and I, when we talked about it, on
what is wholesale?
Wholesale, I think, is like $250.
What, the TCG Classic?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like under $200 at Costco or something.
Exactly.
Terrible.
Right. No, then that's what I'm saying. Because when we first talked about this, there was a major reprint that was happening for it, and we were having a convo on whether it was worth a pickup. And my question is, at its current price, now that the reprint has taken effect, do you think it's somewhat worth it still? Still not worth it?
I don't. I mean, it's just me personally. Like, it's not that it can't be. Like, I've been wrong before. It's just, dude, if I'm looking at $250, I mean, you're talking almost like 3 booster boxes at like 90. Like, you're talking, dude, you can go buy, almost 2 Paldea boxes. You can buy, there's just so much out there that you can buy for that price.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a hard argument to make. It's expensive.
It's really expensive. And here's the thing. It's like price points matter. It's just like Celebrations UPC when it got released at retail at 120. Is that a great pickup? Yeah. Is Celebrations of UPC a great investment at 350? Not as much, right? It's just like Charizard UPCs. When it came out, it was extremely like high, and I said I'm not a fan, and I made videos saying I wasn't a fan. I got creamed for it. And then it dropped. It had reprinted. It dropped down to the 80s, and I was like, "Yeah, this is a pickup." And then people were like, "Alex, you flip flopped. You said it was trash at that." Yeah, it was trash at that price, but then it dropped in like almost half, and now it's a pickup. And it's just like, so price points matter with these products. Something could be the same product, but at one price it could be a buy. At another price, it's not. And so like right now, like 151 UPCs at 180. I don't know if I'd be picking up a ton of those as an investment. At 90, when they were at Costco all over the country, people were idiots not buying them, in my opinion. So it just, things change.
Yeah. So Mason says Eli's had the commander committee as parents. This explains a lot. Yeah, don't even talk to my dad about mana crypts, bro. No, I'm just kidding. That's a dumb joke you wouldn't get. What was I gonna say? Speaking of Magic and owning it, I did give my dad a Christmas present of a collector box of Lord of the Rings. So he does technically own some Magic as an investment. He was like, I want to open it. It sounds fun to open. I'm like, don't open it, Dad. That box is like worth $1,000. Keep it. But I mean, we're a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I mean, I love just all the IPs. I mean, Disney's gone down the toilet, but we won't get into that.
Dude, the whole like Universes Beyond is like one of the best ideas they ever had.
Oh,
for
so
Magic.
someone in the chat actually asked me about that, about the Marvel collab for Magic collector boxes. It's gonna be crazy. It's
I mean,
gonna be
dude, it's
so
literally they're
so
just
insane.
copying off Weiss Schwartz. I mean,
They're just
that's what
printing
Weiss
money.
Schwartz has done for years. They're surviving off other IPs.
Yeah, no, they're just printing money at this point when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's ridiculous how expensive it's going to be. I mean, here's my general strategy right now for people that are curious. It's quite simple. I wait until there's a popular set and there's really good EVs on that specific set for commanders, and people really see either one, that the commanders are extremely playable, or two, that the cards themselves within the commanders are of extreme value. And then I pick some up at release, and then I wait until the reprint happens, and then depending upon how the performance and how the set is liked, I will then just go hard in the paint on the reprint. Because when it comes to the history of sets that have performed well with the commanders, they have been performing extremely well.
So are you currently like sitting on Magic product?
So many Ixalan commanders.
Are you more invested in Magic at this point than Pokemon?
No, definitely not. But that's just because for me, the problem is commander decks are so liquid, and it's just money. It's just so free money, because I can go in and, Ixalan, like after fees, according to our calculations, we're 120% margin, right? Like stupid money. But it made more sense for you to sell the Velociraptor off sealed. And so what I did was I broke down all the commander decks, sold them, and then saw the Velociraptor go from 140 down to 70. And I said to myself, I'm just going to wait until the Velociraptor goes back up to 150, 140, kind of like I did with the Mind Flare deck. And right now it's at 110 again. So it's gone up already $40 since its correction. And I'm just going to wait until it goes back up again. And then I'm going to start dumping it. And then I'm going to do that with the next set. So like the next one that they just announced, MH3 is one I'm a little bit concerned for. Like I want to get MH3, but I don't think I want to go as heavy just because the EVs aren't that crazy for the deck. But I mean, it's such a collectible set. It feels like it's hard to miss on it regardless, but I still am speculative. The one I feel really confident on is Bloomborough. When Bloomborough gets a reprint, it's going to be insane. Like the margins are already 120 right now. Bloomborough is the most popular set in the shop currently speaking. When Bloomborough commanders come out, I'm gonna just say, take my credit card, just buy as many as you can. Because even after
so here's my question. So
crazy.
I followed it. I followed this, the news stories and all like the, ban cards and stuff, and like the whole committee on Commander. So here's my question.
Yeah.
Commander was basically started for kitchen table players. Like how many people do you think really give a crap what a committee says, or any like actual like sanctioned tournaments of committee? Do you think there's anyone that even cares to begin with?
I think it's a mixed bag. So you have, because then you start getting to the realm of proxies and how much people care about that. There are certain stores that do care about what Magic does. And those stores don't allow proxies. They run very strict, tight events. They have house rules that usually fall in line with the general kind of followings of what Magic does, more specifically Hasbro. And so you're going to have those people, right? Then you're going to have those other people that are like, we are a place for Magic, but you can have proxies, ban cards are allowed. It's kind of a free-for-all. I can't say that I see it that often, but there are definitely stores out there. But I would say the biggest thing is like, at least at my shop, right? And we're relatively new. I don't know of a single person that runs a Mana Crypt in their deck. Like, and to be fair, like, we are a predominantly commander specific store. So there are some cards that were more affected. Mana Crypt obviously was run in Commander, but there were some other cards that were more predominantly in like Standard or Pioneer or, some of these other formats. But it's like, I just don't think it was something that really, like, you saw the price correction happen and it affected a lot of people, but at least everyone in my shop saw Mana Crypt's tank and they were just like, I couldn't afford a Mana Crypt to begin with, so this did nothing for me. And the Ixalan Mana Crypts are holding. Like most of them have, there's like maybe one, I think the Rainbow one dipped a lot, but most of them have kind of like dipped maybe slightly or stayed the same. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, there's so much variability to it. It's kind of depends on who you ask. Obviously the controversial decision they made was it was done in poorly, but like, yeah, no, I'm not really too worried about it. that much, just because when it comes to specifically Commander the format is one where there's so much diversity to it that all it takes is one new set to come out, and then all of a sudden a bunch of other cards synergize within a different commander deck or other competitive cards, and then they just shoot up 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. Like, it's just like, it just goes. And that's when you take your chance. Or if you do what I do, which is, you know, you look at the sets that are popular, you look at how they're performing, and then you look at the commander decks, and then you wait for the reprints to inevitably happen. Go heavy on it. You sell off what is not dropping as heavy there, and then you sit on what is going to be able to regain its value. It's basically what we're doing for booster boxes, but the only difference is that you can break them down and sell off the singles, where you can't do that with booster boxes. So it gives you more liquidity and flexibility. Oh my God, my bad. I'll stop.
What
All
happened,
right,
dude?
my bad.
Dude, I'm good. I just dozed off. Chill out. Keep going.
My bad, dude. All right, we'll stop. We put people to sleep. I get it. But I think Dustmourn's looking good too. I do like Dustmourn. It's done well in the shop, and I think it's going to be good. Sorry I put you to sleep, brother.
What do you mean? I'm good. I'm fine.
You're fine. So do you remember a word I just said? Probably not.
See, now this is what teachers in school used to do, and I didn't like it either. All right. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now.
Hey, man, I'm fine with you, sleeping at the wheel, man. I'll take all the free tendies. I'll take all of them, brother. Don't mind me. Nothing to see here. Just broke down my 30 commander decks of Bloomborough and made 120% profit. Nothing to see here.
That's weird. Weren't those were suspiciously absent from your distro program? Did you just take them all or something?
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, I got them at release, and then I just sat on them and waited till the EVs to go up, and they went up to 120, and then I sold them. Like I said before, man, I have my own allocation that I buy for new releases, unless I think the set's going to suck. And then I just sit on it, and then I wait until it goes up. I mean, I'm still sitting on a bunch of PIP. That's the one thing I'm trying to get rid of. Fallout, which that's
the boxes ever get crushed with you sitting on them like that?
So far, no. I mean, if I really, really get scared and I feel like I can walk away with like 20% margin, then I'll do that. But like, you're never going to catch me investing in like a Commander Masters or like going
20% margin is pretty scary.
Yeah, right. It's better than losing money. But that's the thing. You have that flexibility. I mean, there's a lot of people that were like doubting, Commander 40K. And now you look back on, you're like, dude, I'm an idiot. It's like 150% margin now for Commander 40K. Like, the margins are stupid. And there's a lot of people that were just like sitting on it. And so that's kind of where I am with PIP. I mean, Fallout is such a popular, it's such a popular IP. I just think Marvel's going to follow the same suit. Like, that's kind of how I look at it. But anyway, we can move on to another topic before we round out. We've already been going for over 2 hours, dude.
Hey, man, I figured out the new name for your channel. It could be Magic Mart.
Oh, there you go. Got it. Dude, I like where the money goes. Don't hate me, bro.
How have I hated one time? I'm just trying to help you out. You wanted a new name.
Get out of here, brother.
Dude, see, I think you're mistaking hate. This is not hate. This is helpful.
Boredom.
This is helpful.
This is helpful. Man, that's crazy. All right, let's do one more question, and then we can just wrap it up from here. We'll just wrap it up because we got to end it on a Pokemon
Only one
talk.
question? That's going to be hard, man.
Dude, I know. We always struggle with this when it comes to one question. Oh, man. This is a fun one we're going to end it in. Rank these 4 from worst to best.
Well, Pokemon Go's obviously the best.
I like where you're going with this. Obvious.
And then it goes Shining Face, Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze.
From best to worst?
Just like that. I'm quick with it, man. I don't waste time. I just dive in.
Are you being serious? Pogo's the best?
I mean, it's either that or second. Like, I mean, I guess, yeah, Shining Face has the 2 Czar. It's like, yeah, Shining Face has to be above Pogo. So yeah, Shining, Pogo, Vivid, Darkness.
Why are you putting Pogo so high?
What do you mean, dude? What What do you like in Vivid, the Pikachu? What do you like in Darkness, the Charizard? Like, you're saying that the Pogo with the Alt Art Mewtwo, the Conkeldurr, the Rainbow Mewtwo, the original Radiant Charizard with the Radiant Blastoise and Radiant Venusaur, like those aren't better than a Charizard and a Pikachu?
Bro, we've gone through this debate before, bro. What is there that we like in Obsidian? Nothing, but it still performs. It sucks. It's a terrible set.
Again, we did it. We went through this before. Are we talking investment wise or like how good the sets are? Like that's different.
That's a good point. We should probably look at that. Yeah, they didn't specify. That's a good point. Alex is a Conkeldurr fan. I know. I thought that was funny when he said that.
Oh, what?
That you said, bro, it's got Conkeldurr alternate art, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's I think it's a good looking card.
No, Pika, if you want to answer, is it from an investment perspective or from a set perspective? Because that's a very good point. That is a very good point.
Alex clearly has pallets of Pogo. You see, I can't say a word without getting like manipulation talks. It's so great,
bro.
Clearly, yeah. And I love how he added clearly. Like he clearly has pallets of Pogo.
Dude, it makes
it's so
sense.
obvious.
Yeah, just say it from an investment perspective, versus because I would agree with you. I mean, if we're not talking investment perspective, then yeah, that makes sense to me. That it would be which is so crazy. I don't know. I'd say Shining. I'd put Shining above Pogo.
Yeah, I would too. Now that I think about it, the two Charizards are just too strong.
I would put. This is just me personally, right? I would go Shining, Vivid, Pogo, Darkness. And the reason why for me, I go that order.
That's what I said.
Oh, you put Vivid ahead of Pogo?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I put Vivid in front of Pogo just because I do like the Radiant cards. I was a fan of them, or not the Radiant, sorry, the Amazing.
Oh, they're Amazing Rares.
I really like the Amazing Rares, and then I do like the Rainbow Pikachu. It's a chase card, right? And it's more of a chase than opening Pogo, where you've got. I mean, what's it even going for at this point? Like $20 maybe. Like the Mew's not going for a lot. The alternate art's going for $17. Like the Rainbow goes for more at 30. So yeah, I think that's my thing. But if we're talking investment perspective, man, I would say Vivid, Shining, Darkness, Pogo. If we're talking investment, that's my ordering.
Why are you so high on Vivid?
Because Pikachu, it's kind of it, honestly. I mean, it's one of the first ETB designs that we have that has a Pogo on, or that has a Pikachu on the front of it. And so for me, it's like we don't really. I mean, obviously now we've got Surging, but we don't really get a ton of like primary Pikachu sets, and Pikachu is by far one of the most popular characters. And so I think it can hold the setup. I mean, look at how it's been performing. I mean, like the ETBs, the regular ETBs have been performing strong. Like they're doing well for what they are. So that's where for me, it's like.
They're all just so bad.
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad, but Vivid Voltage is the best of the worst, in my opinion.
Oh, man.
So
I'll put Shining at top. I think.
So what would your order be then?
Investment wise?
Yeah, investment wise.
Dude, I think I'm gonna keep it the same.
You're gonna keep it the same?
Yep.
You're that high on Pogo still.
I mean, they're specialty sets. Like, I feel like specialty set ETBs normally do a little better than regular ETBs. Maybe. Yeah, no, maybe not. I don't know.
You for sure still have some Pogo.
Dude, here's the problem. Here's my problem is I am just so far removed from the ETB market that I don't even have a good answer for like investing in ETBs. I think is my problem.
Really?
I think you guys should just listen to Eli. He's the ETB guy.
I do tend to follow some of the ETB prices. That is true.
Just take Eli's word for it. Don't ask me.
I don't know. I mean, my thing is like when it comes to looking at the sets overall and the collectability factor, people do like our designs on ETBs. Like they do enjoy them, right? And Pikachu, and more specifically, we'll just call it the Chunkachu, I think is a popular character that's going to hold up really well. Not to mention, the whole thing we kind of harp on when it comes to investing with people is people like chases. And right now, the Vivid Voltage Pikachu is obviously only going for a little bit over $100. But of all the
So
sets,
shouldn't that mean
listed,
Shining Fate should be your number 1 pick?
Of all the things we just listed,
I mean, Shining Fates has the hardest chase.
How much is the Shining Fates Zard going for right now?
Oh my gosh, I think like what, almost 200?
Oh, has it gone up in value? It was sub $100. I thought it was 80. Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking, dude.
You're thinking of the wrong set.
I'm thinking of Champion's Path.
Oh no, dude. No. Yeah, it goes for 82. It goes for 82. Yeah, I mean, it's
why didn't you catch me when I said the Charizards? I was thinking Champion's Path.
I don't know, plural.
You're probably right, actually. No, Vivid Voltage is probably ahead of Shining.
I mean, dude, here's my thing, right? And this is, you want to talk about really
dude, that Charizard's dusted. Like, no, you're right. Like that thing. There's so many better Charizards in that era. No, you're probably right. Vivid Voltage is probably ahead of Shining.
I mean, you have to think about it. Do we have any other Rainbow Pikachus, or is that the only one?
No, that's it.
So, like, for me, if you see a resurgence of Pikachu cards, oh my god, that card's going to go up in so much. That card's going to go for so much more. And then, of course, it's going to carry the rest of the set with it, because the ETB is on the box and people are going to want to chase the Pikachu. And then on top of that, the amazing rares might pop up in value. Again, like, I don't know. I think Vivid, it's not, I mean, I don't know.
Everyone's giving me so much crap and they just stay off the weed, man. Like, all right, guys, how about this? This question is so bad that I can't even wrap my head around it. Just don't invest in any of these. It's pretty simple. Like, just don't invest in any 4 of these. Put your money into something that's actually good. That's my real answer. That's it.
I mean,
that's it.
I don't know. I like Vivid.
Throw your money in Surging Spark. Oh, wait, you can't because they cut everyone's allocation so hard. Wait, what? What? What?
Huh? Sorry, I was sleeping for a second. You were talking about ETBs not to invest in.
That's what we ended with.
Let's
end it there. That's a good time to end.
All right, guys. We'll end it here. 2:20. Hopefully you guys all have a good rest of your week. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below. Subscribe really helps the channel. But then yeah, and then Alex, you got anything else that you want to shill before we get off of here?
I got some random pack breaks tonight. If you guys want to stop by the channel, 7 p.m. Central.
All right, go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have all things surging talk next Tuesday. Peace.